Go to YouTube, then I'll go over to YouTube as well. And start.
And I even joined 50 minutes ago. God damn it.
Right, there we go. That should. Okay, so they should have the stream starting soon up. Let's see what it does. Go to YouTube. Then there we go. Oh god, I fucking hate my voice. Right, mute that. And lift off.
Where does it tell me on YouTube live?
I've done it in the event wing.
Oh, I'll just click there then.
Oh, I just now realized the golden like paint you have.
Right. Yeah, should I share the mission, because then everyone will be able to see it? Or should I just leave it for now?
Yeah, I'm gonna need to see it.
Yeah, okay then. I'll just share the mission.
Well,
I mean, eventually you can then just jump towards us, but yeah, no, I'm gonna share the thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There we go.
Oh.
Right, I'm waiting outside
Okay,
of Virginia
so-
Point.
okay, so we doing the jump thing. Okay.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Wolf, wherever he is. He is... I think he's the one above us.
Hornet.
Of course, Wolf is gonna be on top.
Yeah, there he is. Right. So where are you?
And here I am, halfway across the system,
Full-
claiming my ship, who quantumed without me.
Oh wow, we already got 3 viewers. Wow. Oh shit, yeah, I'm waiting on Wolf and then we'll head over. And then,
Yeah. It's golden ready.
Alright. Also locked on? Because you need to be synced up to Walla.
Yep,
Alright, there we go.
ready.
Oh, that was a bit of a lag.
I'm gonna move my microphone so I may be heard.
Yeah, you're a bit
little
loud.
quiet.
Yeah, let me turn on the gain a bit so it's you're a bit better.
Oh, nothing's gonna make me better. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I know, you're British. Anyway,
Sorry.
I keep making this shit joke.
Second time he said that tonight, and it's hurt just as badly the second time.
Good. Right, OM4 now.
Oh, sorry, I've already gone off to the comma ray to get my own work.
Oh, with the camera, be careful then,
Yeah.
because you might end up getting a crime stat. Well, yeah, we don't want that.
Be the perfect time to get one.
Okay.
Right, there we go. Right, let's power to the guns. Ah, there we go. So let's say. Oh! What's that? That's not a cutlass.
One down.
Alright, I'm on the second one. And my gun's acting up. Oh, wow.
When the ship disappear?
No.
I guess I'll be the medic in the back lines.
Yeah, no, it will be fine. We're not gonna completely kill everyone, so it's alright. I'm just gonna kill the ones in the top.
Rammed by an NPC. Whoever thought of that happening in this game?
What?
I'm gonna say, hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Don't ask me.
Well, I'm not gonna do.
It was so out of tune as well. It was like horrible.
Let's just call it a sound level test.
Exactly.
Can you hear me alright?
Oh god, no, don't. Please don't.
Don't worry, I won't do that again tonight.
Right, let's see. Yeah. There's not really that many people. I expected as much.
Mm.
Oh.
Ouch. What the? Topic for later on.
Yeah.
I was quantuming and someone almost quantumed into me. Like I saw a ship quantuming right in front of me, quantuming, but
Yeah.
they were going perpendicular to my trajectory. So
Right.
yeah. Let's just, I'm gonna drop it here for later,
Yeah, no, that's fair.
just in case. God, if I
Right, there we go.
crash into something while quantuming,
Oh,
I'm gonna
right,
be
the chest all
embarrassed.
3. That's even better.
Uh,
Right. Okay, basically we can just sit here now.
You sure?
Yeah,
Don't
you
wanna-
can. Yeah, no, you can come in. I don't think they can use the elevators.
No, they can. Trust
they
me,
can?
they can. Yeah, because I was doing this mission like a couple of weeks back around New Babbage, and I was like,
Okay, the elevators don't
chilling
work,
with-
so it's all good.
Okay, because I was chilling near an elevator, waiting for a mate of mine to arrive to the 890 jump.
Wait, can you use
I
ladders
was
then?
like chilling. Elevator came up because
Hold
it was down in engineering.
There you go.
Came up. There were 3 people in there with shotguns.
Oh god. Right,
So,
that's
yeah.
just yeah. Well, let's see. Adder is almost here. Wolf, where is Wolf?
Crew L4. I'll be with you in a moment.
What the fuck did you do?
I died. NPC got a bit amorous with me.
Oh, with
Close to
the
personal.
hammerhead.
No, it was a cutlass, and I was in a
Oh yeah, cutlass. I mean, yeah.
hornet. Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Okay, one of those. Okay, well then I'll just go ahead and start sitting in the area then. Yeah, we're fine.
Question.
What?
Can one keep their normal clothes and not the armor into the 890? Because I believe
Yeah.
one cannot.
Yeah, you can. I think there is
It's
a
breathable. It's breathable once you get in there. Yeah.
yes. So you can move your clothes in there and then. Let's,
Well, I shall park my ship nearby and get my.
Back in a moment.
all right.
Engines. Oh. So,
Oh, come on. Come on. Work with me for a moment. There we go. No, that's. God damn it. No. Fuck it. Fine. No. Just sit straight. No. Right, fuck it. Bastard. There we go. Right, and then I'll just move over the thing. So... Oh. What? Why are you standing next to me? Oh. Fair enough. Yeah, that's right. Right, okay, so that will be 10 minutes, yeah. Fuck it.
I'm back.
Yeah, there we go, welcome back. You're still 17 million kilometers out.
I am. Yeah. You could start without me if everyone else is there.
No,
No,
not
it's
everyone.
not.
It's just me and
You-
Frugal, I think. Yeah, Frugal.
You,
Yes.
yeah, you
And,
can
oh,
start
Blackadder
with a more
finally joined the
intimate.
ship.
Yeah, hear me out. You can start with a more intimate setting, and then once you started, me and Wolf will join in.
Yeah,
oh, wait,
no,
that
no,
sounds
it's,
bad.
it's alright, it's alright.
It's alright, you sure?
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, the viewers didn't see shit for the first 10 minutes of the stream anyway.
Mm.
With a railgun, alright.
A railgun? Oh, yeah, oh, what? Okay, hi. That's a nice camera that you got there. What is it, smile and wait for the flash? Or, There we go.
Am I on stream?
Yes. The stream is now
Okay.
running and everyone in Discord can be heard.
Yeah, okay. I was just making sure because I thought of something that cannot be said on the stream,
no,
so
don't.
I was just making sure.
Yeah, just make sure that you don't say shit that might get me banned.
Don't worry.
I mean, it will probably not get me monetized either because, well, you know, I'm not really one that is monetized yet, so, yeah, take a seat, I guess.
Yeah. What is yours?
For those that
Yeah.
are here.
53 subs. Wow. You're doing alright on YouTube there.
Well, yeah, but I barely got any viewers, and most of the subs were friends or old friends of mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had a hard time convincing my own mother to subscribe to my YouTube channel, so
Yeah.
you've still done well.
Well, no, none of my family is subscribed to my channel, I think. Hopefully. Otherwise, they might be very concerned, depending on how long the stream will go.
Like last event?
Oh, no, not that last event. More like, Actually, wait, yeah, last event did last until like 12 a.m. But didn't it like last until like 12 a.m. or some shit?
Yeah. Also, how much do you remember?
Yes. I don't remember shit. Was it the last event with like the Argo Cargos?
Yeah.
I think that's the last one that I at least participated in.
Yeah.
That was the last one that anyone participated in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like I would have never believed we could win that one, man. You got one down.
You
me
got one.
and Mean got one down. See,
Yeah.
Me and RJ got one down.
Yeah.
Upside down, but we got it down.
Yeah, no, I would have almost gotten the second one down, but then yeah, the ship blew up.
Yeah.
That was very
Man.
fun to just fly the Argo Cargo while under quite high tension, I guess, towards the place.
You try to fly the Argo Cargo where I flew it first time around, in that windy, dusty moon. Damn, it was impossible. Ask RJ.
I mean, you
Like-
said, yeah. I mean, I was flying it from like all the way from Everest Alba to the Reclamation and Disposal Center solo.
May I say though, that I believe is easier because you are just going straight down. I needed to lift off in a windy area
Oh yeah, no, that's yeah,
between buildings
yeah, okay, that's a bit more
in an Argo Cargo. So yeah, just
Yeah, and
Oh my
upside down
God.
as well. You were also upside down, yeah.
yeah. Let's just say I won't fly an Argo Cargo anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like I will wait for the game to actually, launch
I
before
was
I do so.
I was actually looking into maybe getting the Argo pack, with the I think contains the raft, mole, and both Argo both Argo and PUVs.
Man, I'm glad I ain't got this kind of problem. I'm too poor for that.
I mean, same, but that's why I'm hoping to sell my merchantman.
Soul? Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, no, I don't have a soul. Why do you think I have a soul?
Well, I mean, you're happier than me. That's something.
I
Oh,
might.
Why is this getting so sad already?
I will agree to disagree. How about we stick to agreeing to disagree? Okay. I might sound happier, but
you know, I might agree, at first, but you know my heritage, my cultural heritage.
yeah, you're
It just won't happen.
yeah, no, that's fair. We can have a discussion about that later on off stream.
Off stream, yeah.
For now, we're going to focus it on just Star Citizen once everyone is here.
Yeah.
Well, I prepared the tables.
Yeah, thanks, man. Oh, my bottle fell over. Okay.
Oop, sorry, I shot. I shot again. That was on purpose.
Right, there's 5 hostiles. Oh shit.
Does anything come even close to the? Are you anywhere near close to windows on that ship?
Yeah. So the conference room has like an entire like a full, I guess you could call it a 180-degree view, like out into space. So I can, from the seat that I'm facing with my back towards the front, so I can see my C2 and then like most of the table. But I could also sit on the opposite side and I can see the entirety of space, the missile turrets that are still sticking out. And
Yeah.
I think I might have I think I have a glimpse at the nice little guy sitting there in the corner, and the other one behind the Frugal, as well.
All right.
Oh, Wolf
I
just.
can't see how far away I am from y'all, but I think I'm pretty close because I feel I'm gonna crash soon.
Yeah, you're 637 kilometers away.
Yeah, okay,
so
I'm close.
yeah, just get to the opposite side of the planet, and then yeah, Wolf is very close. Yeah.
Really, opposite side of the planet?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like a
And
fucking.
here I was hoping you were over here, not.
We're on Walla, so I think we're on Walla.
I
Are we?
have no
Yeah.
idea where we are.
Yeah,
but,
we are.
um,
I am smart sometimes.
Can't I just quantum over there?
No. I mean, you can. Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. You can use the
You
orbital
want to
markers
go
or
no
just go
map, yeah.
towards an outpost that's on this side of the planet.
I couldn't from New Babbage.
Well, yes.
But let's see, party member? Nope, not party member. I don't want to quantum into you. Let's see if there's anything I can do.
Yeah, there should be an outpost that is like in marked in like little dotted lines, and then you can quantum over there.
It's the camera ray actually.
Yeah. Oh no, don't go to the camera ray. That might get you a crime stat.
Oh.
Frugal, are you you like your food so much that you wanted to step on it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
apparently,
fair.
yes.
Extra vibers, I guess. Right, so yeah, so for Blackadder and Frugal and probably Wolf that will join us soon. How do you like the game so far? And like how long have you guys been playing? As like an introduction, you know?
I have not been playing for that long, I guess. A bit over a year now, 1.5.
No, nice.
Same here, about a year.
And then Wolf that I can see coming up behind the bar. I think Wolf has been playing the longest from all of us.
Yeah, hello.
Hey.
As if I'm gonna arrive and just answer the questions if I was here the whole time. Is that alright?
yeah, everyone can see that you've just arrived. But yeah, no, you're free to.
Yeah. I started playing in 2018.
Oh.
It was the just around Christmas that I bought myself a freelancer. So yeah, 2018.
Oh, nice. And then, yeah, have you guys been? What's your main job? Like, what's the main thing that you do within the verse, for all of you?
Huh. I guess me over here mainly mining if I can, or starting out with bounties to finance the mining, I guess.
No, yeah, fair enough. And then Wolf and Adder?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just start without me. I'll join it as soon as I can because internet connection is conspiring against me and I'm having the same issue I've been having for the last hour.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see when you get here. If you do decide to still join on. We've
No, I'm trying to join. I'm trying to join.
Yeah, okay. We've already did start, so yeah. No, take your
So-
time on it, man. It's alright.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize, man.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I've been like
I'm sorry, go on.
been playing for about a year, same as Fugo.
Yeah.
As for in-game, I've been mostly mining and bunker missions.
No, yeah. And Wolf?
I will add though, like Blackadder, you are also our org's what to call it, like a prison rat. You're the merit hoarder, right?
Yes, because I actually enjoy the mining part.
Yeah. I just thought that was worth a mention. For me, you can probably guess, I bought a freelancer as my starter ship. I'm a hauler.
Yeah, so
I
mainly
want to be a lorry driver, or should I say a truck driver?
Yeah,
Space
fair enough.
trucker.
Space trucker.
Yeah, as for myself, I've also been playing for... I think I've been playing for like half a year... No, a bit over a year by now. And then, yeah, my first starter ship was the Aurora MR, which I later changed towards the Freelancer. And then, yeah. And so, what is the... Well, let's say what's the main ship that you have pledged for that you're looking out for? Let's say for hauling, I don't know, like a Hull E, or for mining the Orion. What's the ship that you've already pledged for, or are going to pledge for once it comes out for the job that you're doing?
Well, for me it's pretty much the Orion, because I really want to get the feel of the bigger mining that they will add with the Orion.
No, yeah. So you're gonna pledge for that, or you're gonna go actually save
I'm
it up?
already pledged for it.
Oh, damn, nice.
That's why I have a lot of loaner ships.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
have the Mole and the...
Prospector.
Yeah, both of them are the loaners.
Yeah, yeah. And then, Wolf and Adder?
So I'll go. Well, I'm looking forward to the Hull C. I don't have a pledge for it yet, but when it comes out, I'm planning to melt some things and make a Hull C one of my main ships.
No, yeah.
Because I've always had, since I started, I've always had the idea of being like a small time company, but like a hauling company, not just like a freelancer on my own, one guy.
Yeah, but I'm more like a whole
yeah.
scene with a group.
Exactly.
No, yeah.
The whole like my actual fleet is like a Hull C, a freelancer max, a couple of Hercules, or something equivalent, and maybe a Hull B. You know, depends how hauling works out.
Yeah, you would need something.
Yeah, to be able to haul very large amounts of commodity all at once with a group of people. But yeah, the ship I am. Actually, I don't own it. I see it as my end game ship. The ship I really want to own, my favorite ship, is the Karak.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then Adder?
Sure. It's funny that you mentioned about the host that you want. It's actually supposedly coming out in 3.18 patch.
Yeah, it's got they did remove it, but yeah, it's supposed to come out with the next update. Yeah. And I think that it might become the loaner of the pledge ship that I have at the moment.
Right. For me, I pledged for the Odyssey.
Oh.
It was kind of the go-to ship for me. It was like my little ship universe, had my own little station.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I've gotten a merchantman, the Bano merchantman, but I might exchange it, or I'm heavily debating on exchanging it for something like a Nautilus or a Liberator as my basically main base of operations to haul with, and yeah, to use daily in the verse.
I mean, I'm also a little bit excited for the Odyssey.
Yeah, Odyssey sounds quite alright for what it is. I would have gone for it, but I just don't really like Misk ship design, so that's why I haven't gone for it or thought about it getting it.
I mean, it does have some alien tech mixed into it as well.
Yeah, it's like the reason that I don't like Misk's ship design is just because it looks a bit too stale, I guess.
Yeah.
Just like it's too clean and too stale, and that's really what I kind of hate about it. And
too sterile.
Yeah, too sterile. There you go. And then yeah, anything that you guys are hoping for that might come into the game, which might look interesting in terms of gameplay, or that you might have as an idea into as gameplay, like let's say news reporting, or something like that.
There is one ship coming up. It's the Argo SRV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the little tugboat for the spaceships.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they're gonna make a game loop for it for you to assist other people to load and unload the ships.
Oh yeah, and that's something that you're really looking out for.
Yes.
Ah, that's fair enough.
It's been a long-running joke for me that I want a space forklift. I don't particularly like the idea of just using a tractor beam to move cargo containers. I like the idea of actually having like a little forklift, just do a bit of forklift driving to relax every so often. Instead of flying around.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to the cargo refactor, and I want to see more details about how it actually is going to play. But if it matches what's in my imagination for it at all, it's going to be spectacular, and I'm going to love it.
Yeah, so what I think with the cargo refactor, what they might do is just allow you to basically throw your cargo into the ship, and if you have it within the cargo grid, it will be counted as one SU of cargo that you loaded in, and but then the more that you buy, then of course the more you can fill your ship up. But then I assume that when something like a 30k happens, only the stuff that will be within the cargo grid will get restored.
Yeah, but that might not be a problem, because if the money transaction only happens when you put the container into your ship, then you haven't lost any money. It's just that, so you go to a station or a planetary location, you order up how many could a C2 fit? Like 562 SCU?
C2 can carry 696.
Okay, 696, which is even worse, because that means that 696 boxes suddenly generated, and you have to move them all into your ship.
Yeah, I know
Every single one. And there is no Gatling tractor beam. You're gonna have to do it, one at a time.
Well, they are going to release as well, cards and I think tractor beams and stuff that you can then use in order to mass load the cargo into your ship.
Well, that's what I mean, because it's light on details, but at the minute it looks like there's going to be a tractor beam, like a rifle version. Like the healing gun, med gun, has got. It's not just the multi-tool. You've got the more powerful and specific use. And if they have that, and it can carry multiple containers, well, we don't know. We haven't been told that, right?
Yeah.
All we know is that it's supposed to be able to pick up an entire container. Anyway, you're gonna have 696 of them to load, but all you've done at that point is ordered 696 boxes to be spawned into the verse.
Yeah.
And then each time you load one, and I think you are right, you basically just push the box towards your ship with the tractor beam, and it will eventually click, pop, and it becomes part of the inventory on the ship.
The way sorry to interrupt. You go on. I'll interrupt you later.
Oh, okay. I'll treat that like a promise. But so it would be it wouldn't actually cost you any money to spawn 696 boxes, but every time you put one on your ship is when it actually costs the money. So if there's a 30k, yeah, it's secure and safe.
I don't think they'll do it like that. So what I assume that because like, yeah, you spawn those boxes in, but that's from if you were to look at it as in a real life perspective, it's like you basically are spawning in the resources that the station has. And so what I assume they'll do is that you will buy for the boxes to spawn, and then you can load them up for free. But then, or you can then pay NPCs in order to load them up for you, and then you can use something like that tractor rifle thing that you talked about, or the Drake Mule, or something similar to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I that's what I think might happen. And then what I was more talking about is like not that what they showed with like what's it the salvaging with when they showed the interior of the Reclaimer. You saw that they were just throwing the boxes down into the hatch and then into the cargo grid, and that you had someone just throwing it, well, into place within the cargo. I kind of think that that's how it will go, but then that's they instead of locking into the cargo grid, the game will just look at it and go, okay, that's within the cargo bay, that counts as cargo, and then it will use that info, even if the box is like, let's say, a millimeter, or if it's entire corner outside of the cargo grid, that it will still count as loaded cargo. But then the moment that let's say you have what ship should I use? Let's say the Liberator, which has not been released yet. So the Liberator has the 2 grids with 400 total SU of cargo. But then let's say you were to spawn 1,000 SU, 1,000 times 1 SU box. You can load up those 2 400 SU grids, but then you fill up the rest of the ship. What I mean is that, and what I'm curious about as well, is that what if the server crashes, and then you have the entire interior of the Liberator filled up with cargo boxes, but only 400 of them locked into the cargo grid, or well, connected to the cargo grid. That I assume those boxes will then despawn and that you've lost your cargo.
Yeah, although that brings up another of the features that's supposed to be coming out soon, which is the PECS, the PES. I can't remember what it stands for. Persistent Entity something.
Yeah, Persistent Entity Streaming, which is PES, yeah.
Yeah, PES. So that is gonna totally change how 30Ks are experienced, right? Because it would be no longer that server, when it crashes and reboots, it's gonna be able to save the location of everything. But that to me doesn't say, like, now we have the cargo grid.
Yeah.
And if it's on a cargo grid, it's recorded in the ship's like status log, so to speak.
Yeah.
But if this PES is different in the way it records where items are, then it should be able to record there is a container in the hallway of this Liberator, for example.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I mean, I have lots to say about PES because I don't think people really understand, or I haven't heard anybody speaking about the actual ramification of what it is. The one enormous feature of PES, and no one's speaking about it. Would you like me to stop giving you clues and just tell you?
I think you're meaning the server the start of server meshing and server shards.
No.
Or the shards?
No. Everyone's talking about, I could put 1,000 picos in a cave, or in a what's it called? A valley, a gorge.
Yeah.
And they would stay there on the server. What people aren't, and I mean it, I have not heard a single person speaking about it, but if you park your ship in orbit of Walla, like we are right now, that ship will stay there because PES. And that means that we no longer need to worry so much about where our ship is. And if it gets, you've all, I'm sure, experienced it, where you've been doing a thing, you've died, and then your ship, when you go back to the ship retrieval terminal, wherever you got respawned, it says it's in an unknown location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't go back to it because it's despawned. PES stops that. But that means your Karak is in orbit of Walla, you took your Pisces down, did a bunker mission, explored a cave or whatever. That Karak, and then you decided you just forgot about the Karak altogether. You know, you've spent ages down on the planet and decided, I'm just going to log off right here. You press Alt F4, come back the next day, and eventually, I know the servers, the ability to get onto a specific server again is not possible right now, but eventually, and it's not a very far jump, you're going to just be able to fly back to your Karak, and it will be exactly where you left it.
Yeah, but then I assume you don't forget about the Karak, but then they'll show a marker of it, because with right now...
and you'll just be able to click the track button, and it will be there.
No, well, yeah, but not, I mean, as in when you get out of the ship, because from when I go on foot, for instance, when I land my ship on next to a bunker, I can just look at my ship, and it will show markers of the like the various elevators, and then the moment I get further away from it, it will show something like C2 Hercules or Anvil Pisces, and then that marker will stay wherever I go, within the bunker, cave, whatever. So I can see the location.
And that
of my
is,
ship.
but that is like server dependent, and if too many ships are spawned, you know, you've got a 3-ship limit, for example.
Yeah. Then one of the markers will just disappear.
And that will disappear.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I'm going to interject if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
As you were speaking about persistent entity streaming, they've also said that not everyone's going to go back to the same server that you crashed from, because the likelihood is very low, you know. And they said, just be copy the server or no, and take a copy of it to the next server that you jump on and just reappear. Well, my question, and still needs to be tested in 3.18 when the PTU goes live, is are they going to combine that with Crystal, as they mentioned a while back in I think it's 3.16 or even 3.17? As for the Crystal, meaning when you disappear after a certain amount of time, you'll leave it as a crystal mark because all the servers are combined, and when you go back in, it'll reappear and just travel with you from server to server as you need it.
That's what the shards are.
I'm not sure whether they're going to implement a situation where if you join a server, all of your assets join the server that you're in, because eventually what they're actually aiming for is like a single shard for a server region. So yeah, your Karak will be there because it's on every single server. You know, every person in the NA server, the EU server, whatever region you're in, can see that Karak if they are in that location. So it accomplishes the same goal.
Yeah.
But in the short term, no one's speaking about the fact that your Karak can, because obviously that has consequences. Because if you are flying around in your Karak, you leave it in the Pisces, you leave it, go explore somewhere, and someone comes across a Karak and decides, I'm just gonna take it. You know, the hangar door was left open, or I'm gonna destroy it. It can be destroyed because it's there, even if you logged out, crashed out of the server, whatever. And I'm not. I make it sound like it's a negative thing, but it's very exciting to me to actually think that makes things feel in this game more permanent, more real.
Yeah, that's a lot better. Yeah. Then what so back to about the shard thing. From what I've heard and what I've talked about is that right now, every single server will serve as a single shard, and that means that right now, even with persistent entity streaming, the data will get copied over from server to server, but then that like right now it's just one big shard, so there's no difference between PES and like the shards and then server meshing, I guess you can call it, or the entire crystal. But then the moment that they start adding stuff like pyro or something like that, or multiple other variants, like in total they're going to add like 95 systems. That's when they'll also assign multiple various servers to one single system. And then let's say, and then if you die, and then I think one planet will be a single shard then. So if you're at I don't know, on ArcCorp Area 18, and you've stored all your ship there, or you're outside of Area 18, you die there, you have your stuff there. At the moment that the server 30Ks, your shard will get copied over, or as far as I know at least, your shard might get copied over to, let's say, server 48, and to ArcCorp, because that is the second server that is also running ArcCorp in the same kind of session, or same crystal. And then you publish your stuff.
I feel as though, see, when they were speaking about shards and servers it was a Star Citizen Live, I think.
Yeah.
The people who were explaining it, I don't think they gave a good explanation, and some of that bad explanation, I think, is echoed in what you're saying there.
Yeah.
But I think they could have said it clearer, and in my own words, I think the way to describe it is a shard refers to every single element, every single millimeter of the space within the verse. At the minute, it's all of Stanton, as we see it, but eventually that'll be Pyro plus another 90 odd systems, and that is all one shard.
Yeah.
And what they're talking about is that at the moment, a shard is just going to be one server per shard, because literally one server right now is running the whole of this Stanton system.
Yeah, exactly.
And there are maybe 1,000 servers currently spooled up, all running the Stanton system, but we can only see our shard, the one we're currently sat at this conference table, whereas in another shard, another server, one of those 1,000 servers, someone else is in this room shooting a bad guy right now. But so a shard is a collection of servers that make up the whole game universe. And at the moment, and for the foreseeable future, the shard size will be of one server. So a shard is like a big box, and at the moment in that box there is one server. So when they speak about that's how they should have explained it, because I think it was very easy to mistake what they said in the video and turn it into something that shards aren't. So when you say a shard, when Pyro is introduced, the shard will be 2 servers with simple server meshing, I think, is what they said. So basically, you cross the jump gate between Stanton and Pyro, and you actually physically connect to a different server. And in the simple server meshing, they want to come up with some code, some algorithms, I guess you'd call it, to make sure that if you're in a server, you're in Stanton with all of your friends, you all jump through the jump gate and you all arrive on the same server.
Oh, yeah.
But that server is not necessarily directly connected. So not everybody in Stanton on your server, those 100 players, would jump through the jump gate and arrive in your version of Pyro, because the shards aren't. It's not one full shard yet. It's just one shard is running Pyro, one shard is running Stanton, and you connect to whichever server's got space. But then when they expand further, the shard becomes Pyro and Stanton, and no matter what, the 100 players that are in Stanton can all jump through that jump gate and arrive in the same shard's Pyro. So you will see the same names if everybody all jumped at once in a hypothetical scenario. Like 100 ships fly through at once, all 100 ships would arrive on the other side and see each other again. That would be like the step after.
Oh yeah.
So that's the difference. That's even I'm not speaking clearly about it. But yeah, so the difference, the thing about the shards is just confusing. I think, especially the way that they've described it as is.
Yeah. Also, one thing like about the jump gates that I'm quite curious about is like they said that the moment you basically fuck up the whole transportation through the jump gate, you end up just in space.
Yeah.
How would the rescue be? Because
That's interesting. Like, is there actually a way for you to get back?
yeah, that's my entire question. Like, we don't. All they said is like, oh yeah, no, you're just in space. That's it. But like, how will the rescue be? How will it all go? What's there in the? Well, I mean, there's nothing there, quite literally. But is there a way for a player to still manage to get back, or to get rescued or whatever?
Yeah, it might be that you have to, do like a half an hour normal quantum travel, 30 minutes real time,
Yeah, but
then again, it might just be that your only option is to backspace. Just go away.
Yeah, but that's what I'm wondering about as well. It's like,
yeah, it's a good question.
So if you let's say, I don't know, I go in with my 890 jump, and then I fuck up the quantum, but I don't have enough fuel in it to just quantum for another hour, 1 hour. I just have a tiny bit left. I'm just then screwed basically. So then, what I was wondering, like, will there be NPC rescues or just ships that will be basically acting or having the same power as a quantum gate to allow you to just jump to that person lost in space and then fly over to them? Or like, let's say, I don't know, I'm stuck right in the center of Pyro and Stanton. Will there be a ship that will be able to jump out like through a gate, but then also, if it's just in normal space, have the same power as a jump gate? If you know what I mean.
When we have Pyro, there's gonna be a second jump drive we're gonna get. The one specifically designed for jumping through that space.
But yeah, but like through the jump gate then, yeah.
Yes.
But then that's what I'm thinking about. It's like, okay, you can go through the jump gate, but that rescue ship, if there will be any, that is, would it have the power to basically act as its own jump gate? If you know what I'm trying to say. So that you basically have a ship that, well, of course will be massive, and basically capital or bigger class, but then that it has the same that it can just jump to another system on its own power, on its own power, but only from halfway path basically. So then if you were to make use of that drive, you can go from, let's say, Stanton to Pyro, but only up until halfway before you run out of fuel with said ship or said rescue ship.
I think that's like too far ahead to be told, because CIG hasn't even mentioned anything like that.
Yeah, no, they haven't mentioned, but that's what I'm curious about. It's like, what will the rescue be? Will you just be stuck out of space and forced to basically suicide and blow up your ship? Or will there be NPC or player, well, helpable rescue that they can just jump over to you and then rescue you and go back to Stanton or Pyro?
I guess since you can quantum jump out to nothing, you could probably make a beacon for them.
Yeah, but then
where they can jump to.
Yeah, like of course you can, but then the problem will be is that, I don't like, what's the Carrack's jump speed for or max jump range, for example?
Whoa.
No idea.
Or let's go with the example that the Carrack has like a 200 million kilometer jump range, but then the length from Stanton to Pyro is 800 million kilometers. I mean, it will be much
Yeah,
further,
it's
but
just it's
I
way,
mean,
way.
yeah,
I will think that at some point you will be able to store fuel in your cargo space to refuel.
yeah, but then there's also like within deep space. If you're lost, then I.
Oh,
Okay. Well.
I guess someone respawned the mission.
No.
Oh.
That's still a just an NPC that's still down in the in the hangar. But no. Getting back to
I
my
have
point.
arrived.
Welcome.
It's me.
Finally. But to get back to my point, that's what I was thinking about, because if you're in deep space and you will not have any communications, and nor any, well, especially with a Carrack, it's like, yes, that thing has massive communications tower to have long range communication capabilities and marking capabilities, but then in deep space you will not have that. You will not have any point of that will that you can ping a signal to, and then it will send a signal back for you to jump to. Oh, thanks. So then,
Well, that's one of the things about Pyro. They told you, like, it doesn't matter if you have insurance or not. If you go to Pyro, you risk losing everything. It's one of the risks of going to Pyro. So, like, either you get rescued or you lose everything and start from scratch.
yeah, okay, but then like with Pyro, I understand, because like there might still be rescue. But then what about if you fuck up in the quantum, in like the jump drive from Stanton to Pyro? What if you fuck up in that route?
I don't think that's gonna happen right now, but we'll see. Like, as far as I know, they haven't even mentioned the fuel for the specific drive. It's like either you activate it and just go over, or you don't. It's like either yes or no.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
If I may.
Yeah.
As I finally arrived.
Yeah, a bit naked, but okay, yeah. There's a corpse in the corner of the room that you can steal the clothes of.
I'm just in my birthday suit. Don't bother.
Right, I'm not gonna look that way then. Okay.
The whole point of having long-range communication.
Demonetized.
Exactly. That's what I told him, that there's a corpse in the corner of the room. You can take the stuff from there.
Nah. It was done on purpose, actually.
Right.
So the whole point of having long-range communication and data ships that could actually transfer communication from system to system, so from Stanton to Pyro, for example.
Yeah.
Couldn't that also be used that way? Data ships relaying comms for refueling ships. No, I'm not gonna get those Mivaldi pants. Come on.
Get some clothes on, otherwise I might get demonetized. Please, like, just not monetized anyway, but like still, put on some clothes before I get age restricted.
Okay, so as I was saying, data ships in Pyro transmitting back to Stanton, and then relaying to refueling ships that would get to the stranded person over there, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, in Stanton I understand, or I mean, in Stanton or Pyro, I understand, like, oh, there can be rescue, but the main question was like, what about in between? Because like as they've said, and I as you guys said as well, there's no way to fuck up yet, but as far as they've gone to implement, or they wanted to implement, there will be a chance that you might screw up and then just float or drifting through literally nothing, and with no communication relay, no
whole data ship thing.
Yeah, but then the data ship thing, like the way that will work, as far as I can understand it, is it will basically send a signal out to the jump point, which then can communicate with the jump point in Stanton. It doesn't send out the signal that goes directly through the vast emptiness of space.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, and stop me if I am, please. I recall there was at least a ship that should be able to, in the future, do deep space scanning and deep space relaying.
Yeah, the God, I what's it called? The Endeavor? I think it's
Oh
called.
yeah.
Yeah.
For example, if a guy on that ship does some deep space scanning, because some people were, example, I wanna go from Stanton to Pyro. Wolf is waiting for me in Pyro. I do not get to Pyro on time. He sends Frugal on his endeavor to do a deep space scan in the space between. You know, he figures out where I am, checks coordinates, and sends a rescue party or something,
Yeah, you would
giving
need
them the
to.
coordinates,
Yeah.
something like that. Maybe you have to do that to send a party of NPCs or people, I don't
Yeah,
know, but that could be an idea.
I think
If I,
then the option, as far as I know, would really be to either have, well, again, something similar to an Endeavor or maybe a bigger ship that carries a lot of fuel in order to quantum over to, well, display that's stranded in empty space,
Mhm.
or for, yeah, I guess, like I said, for something that has to that can jump very fast, very quickly, to go well out towards that player.
Mm.
Mhm.
The I've just I think I've realised what the solution is. So the jump gate opens a wormhole,
Yeah.
or there is a wormhole between the two jump gates, and if you touch the side, I remember them saying now, it was Jared who said it particularly, that what would happen is your ship would take massive damage
Yeah.
and find itself on the other side of the wormhole, i.e., you'd just be stranded in the middle of, interstellar space.
Yeah. So that's
But
what I was curious about. Yeah.
what would happen is that your ship is heavily damaged. You've got to replace loads of relays, repair, and if you're able to get your ship to be underway again, what you can then do is just fly back into the energy stream of the wormhole and carry on navigating.
But then how would that
So
be marked?
sorry.
How like would what's your vision on that then? Because what I assume is
So
then.
let's say if you just touched the sides and came out of the stream,
Yeah.
then you would just be on the other side of the stream. So you would be everything would be black, with the exception that you would see the kind of bluish, cloudy streak quite nearby, maybe a few hundred kilometers or 1,000
So,
kilometers if they want to be punishing.
so
And so,
basically, the warp stream is visible from the outside.
yes, it's basically it's like a tube in space that cuts through space, and if you
Right.
touch the edge of the tube, you're thrown out. Your ship is heavily damaged, but then you can get in once you've repaired your ship,
But then.
and therefore there's no need for anyone to come and rescue you. Actually,
but then
there
there
might.
is the question, if the going out on the side damages your ship, wouldn't it also damage your ship when you suddenly go inside from the side?
I mean, that would be like a physics question, but
Yeah.
a rule of cool question that this game is ruled by would just be, yeah, you can rejoin it, and it gives you an amazing like visual effect, and you've already paid the penalty for failing the minigame in the fact that your ship has been heavily damaged, and assuming that you have packed, the repair items that are needed to get back underway, there shouldn't be another penalty to the gameplay.
Yeah, but
to get back underway.
About that though, it's like, yeah, you should be able to see the stream, but seeing as we basically need a jump point in order to even be able to access the stream and to use the stream in order to get from one system to another, how would you then be able to join the stream back in without the help of a jump point?
Think of it like the rapids, like extreme kayaking, right?
Oh yeah.
You would enter a kayaking event at the start of the event, which is a point that some officials, some experts, whatever, have deemed is safe enough for you to enter the area, the rapids, and then go down the rapids. If you find yourself in this kayak the rapids get the better of you and you touch the sides, i.e., the embankment, rocky and etc., you have yourself a nice accident, but then you can repair your kayak. And where would you enter back onto the rapids to get to the finish, which is the next place, with civilization? Because you're in the middle of the wilderness, so you enter where it is. Now, so my point is, yes, there's a jump gate on both sides of a wormhole, but that isn't the jump gate is the thing that is keeping the wormhole open, and it is the safest point of entry. But it's not the only point of entry, and they've already said that, in fact, because there are options for pirate players, less than legal players, to circumvent the law, because the jump gate entrance is a heavily secure place.
Yeah.
And you can, as a criminal player, you can get into the jump gate without going through security.
I mean, that is true, because how else would Ninetales come to Stanton?
Exactly. So what we can expect, I think, is you can enter a wormhole, outside of a jump gate. It's just more dangerous, or slower, or there's going to be some penalty, which in the case of we've been kicked out of the jump gate because we failed the navigation minigame. You've been heavily damaged, you enter the stream and you're going much slower, so it's going to take longer, but it'll be easier because when you're navigating at speed it's hard, but navigating at slow pace is relatively easy. So that, I think, is actually the whole thing with jump gates. But you did bring up an interesting point. Sorry, has anyone got anything else they want to say about that? Because I'm going to change the subject.
I mean, I guess the only thing I was questioning a little bit is, let's say you do get thrown out of the stream and get heavily damaged. How would someone rescue you if you wouldn't be able to repair yourself and your thrusters are so broken that you can't move?
This is related to what I was going to change the subject with.
Oh, okay.
So I'll relate it to that. Does anyone else want to say anything before I answer that one?
No, I don't think. I don't have any.
Go ahead.
No.
Okay, right. So yes, because what Purged said at some point in the conversation there was that a new ship would need to be released by CIG that can travel those interstellar distances without using the wormhole necessarily, or maybe it uses the wormhole and kind of gets out of the wormhole on purpose at the point where people need rescuing.
So basically a ship that has built-in warp exit damage negation.
No.
Exactly.
You could also...
Because, the Endeavour is this long-range scanning, etc. But the Endeavour, I'm right in thinking, we're talking about it's like that long one with the glass domes.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, because the Endeavour has the module where you have like the really big antenna.
That all is very fragile to actually...
Exactly. It's not going to be a strong ship. You might be able to use the Endeavour to find stranded ships.
Yeah. Basically, with that module, you would do deep space scans to get the data of those and sell the information to others.
Yes. So I think that CIG will probably at some point see an opportunity, because that's what it is. They sell ships. That's their business model. So it's an opportunity for them to release a new ship, the armored repair ship, the ARS. Release the arse. But they would release that if basically it's just a long-range armored ship that can safely get out of jump wormholes in order to rescue the stranded ships that are there. And the reason I was going to change subject with that point that addresses, I think, Frugal and Purged, that addresses what you were both saying.
Yeah.
The point being that CIG built ships. Do they really Do they need to finish the game? If they're just going to keep adding features that make ships more necessary,
I mean,
new specialized ships.
I think that they would, of course, eventually need to finish the game. But then, what I think, so what I could do right now is like do the main, well, what you expect to be the main things in a space game. So that would be mining, hauling, ship combat, FPS combat, stuff like that. And then, oh, okay, not just list, but yeah, and then just and let's say maybe what other gameplay, like just smaller gameplay that's related to those bigger main 5 gameplays. And then once those are implemented and properly done, then that's when they can like throw the game into beta, start do bug fixing, start like maybe adding in more smaller gameplay things, like let's say news reporting or just data running, or because I don't see data running as like a main gameplay thing yet.
You don't?
No, what I assume, and then in terms of so once the game goes into beta, then they can start with the bug fixing, and once they start finally releasing that, that's when they can then throw let's say more gameplay into it. So let's say then data running, news reporting, fucking flying snack bars, flying noodle shops, you name it, they can then add it once the game is released. And then so that's what they could do then, is like first have the main gameplay, so then like mining, salvaging, hauling, combat, and either already start adding the subcategories, so as in bunkers, the various difficulties of targets, of bounties, the claim jumpers that you have already, and similar stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know. That's really it. That's what I'm thinking about. Is of course the main 5, and then what in my idea is the main 5, and in terms of gameplay, the space gameplay, and then the rest will come once it goes into beta and alpha.
Yeah.
What will be your idea on it, really? In terms of like what I said, and what if you have any idea, that is.
Who did you address the question to?
I think so.
As for like right now, you guys mentioned about how we need something like an Endeavor to scan. Yes, it does. But if you're in between, very close to that jump point in the gate, you wouldn't need to travel much.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically, quantum jump out of the warp stream?
No,
yes, it would be like one drive that takes you to that stream from Pyro to Stand to Pyro, and once you get out, find that ship that's in distress real quick. If it's close enough, jump to them, grab them, and hop right back through again.
Yeah. And or that instead of like a repair ship, that you could add in a like something similar to a carrier, but then that it has an internal space for those for certain ships to fit within it.
Right, but you see, you're talking about like such a large enough ship with a decent capacity ready to come to Pyro. Otherwise, you wouldn't take them. To have anything less than that would be like not really advisable.
Yeah.
So
no.
for that, to have a ship to be able to carry that kind of ship is gonna be rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely better to repair the other ship in situ, or at least rescue the crew.
Yeah.
And then get them back to safety.
Yeah, then it would be more
rather than carry them.
Yeah.
I think the Crucible is the ship that is like the heavy repair, right?
Yeah, it's heavy repair.
I think it's in a size where you could put a Hornet inside of it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But then you don't need to. If you're repairing a bigger ship, what you do is you basically just go alongside it and clamp alongside it, right? So yeah, there isn't really a ship that's going to be big enough to like pick up a Karak and plop it back into.
I guess maybe with that tractor beam tuck ship.
Oh yeah, come to think of it. But then again, will a tractor beam hold up against a wormhole?
No, I don't think a tractor beam could hold a ship of that size and pull it. Like you need.
I guess. But you could maybe pull a big ship quick. You could maybe pull the ship strong enough to put it in enough motion that it floats into the stream.
Now, so
but then if that ship was dead in the water, it's still going to have to try and navigate through a wormhole without any thrust. Yeah. So it's still going to be
right without having to collide into the walls and stuff of the tunnel of the stream.
Exactly.
Honestly, what I kind of assumed is that it would be more of like I guess like a newer style, like a newer ship, and then I don't know, like an Argo ship, let's say. That's there for to rescue the crew and maybe the more important stuff of the ship, if it's stranded, or also help repair the ship. And then that will be more capital ship. But then you're also.
That's the thing. CIG might want to do something like that, but there's going to be a lot of backlash, and there's already. Stuff that they made for like the Carrack for one. Carrack has the ability for drones to do self-repair as is.
Yeah.
They just haven't implemented it.
Yeah, and I think the Crucible, or is it the Vulcan that will have repair drones as well?
Yeah, there's the Vulcan and the Crucible both.
So I guess it would be possible, let's say it's a really big ship and you don't have enough material to fix it completely, but you might be able to just repair the thrusters so it can maneuver through the stream again.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's all you really need, like just enough to get into the stream and control your flight to go back to stand.
Yeah.
And also, you guys were talking about a ship with like an internal hangar to carry capital ships would be too massive. Yeah. But then we're already looking at people buying Kraken, the Javelins. I don't know if the Bengal carrier is on sale. I don't think it was. But just
no, it isn't.
No, okay. But then like already massive ships that you could you could make a similar ship that is only capable of docking onto stations, but then that it can only carry up till like capital class, like a small or large to capital class ships, or something like that.
But then that ship, that carrier, that capital carrier would be a super capital size.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, where does it end? Do you then have a carrier that can carry a super carrier?
No. So, but that basically, like, once that thing breaks down, then it's just too bad, really. Then you need something like a Crucible in order to come over to help repair that thing, in order for it to continue carrying the ship. And
it's a good thing that you mentioned about the Bengal, because that Bengal is big enough to actually, I think, fit Aegis on it.
It fits a Retaliator in it.
Right. So
inside. Yeah.
They mentioned that like. Those are ships that you're allowed to have in game later on, but they're not meant for one person. They need to be manned 24/7, like a station.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
On top of that, you can't buy them. You have to salvage them, meaning you have to find a wreckage of that ship, salvage the wreckage, and replace every single component, making it functional.
Not to mention, you also have. I don't know if it ever will come into the PU. But you also have, at least in terms of lore, the Retribution, which is gigantic. Yeah. It even dwarfs a fucking Javelin.
Yeah, basically. 2 kilometers long.
Yeah, exactly. So that I'm like, you can throw in those kind of shit, like ships of that size, but then, it's like, of course you would need to, or either make sure that it can only do one thing. So let's say with the carrier. That it only has one massive internal hangar, purely for carrying a ship, and nothing else. So that yes, it has armor and maybe like a single turret that's being pilot controlled, but it cannot do anything else. It does not have repair. It does not have refueling. It does not have anything. It can just carry a ship.
But then the thing is, is it practical? Is it something that they could do and it would add to the game? I don't think it would.
So what I assume it's like in terms of, let's say, with the whole warp drive or warp jump again with the quantum or the jump gates. I mean, you have a ship that's completely fucked to no belief, and that's floating outside of a warp. They have multiple options of either going for, I don't know, calling in a crucible and help getting that thing to repair your ship so that you can both then go back into the jump and then go off to Pyro, or you could then decide to call a carrier ship and have an armored carrier ship that can easily get out of the jump and not take that much damage, and then carry your ship over to back to Stanton or to Pyro to a station so that you can then get it repaired. You then it basically it might not serve purpose, but I see it more as also just giving more options.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about the function of a ship that's not yet in game. That's called Pegasus, but I think it's a carrier.
No, the Pegasus is basically like a floating city. There's just a lot of soldiers in there, and it's just meant to act as a literal space station. It carries ships, yes, but it also can do combat.
Yeah,
and
because I thought it might be easily big enough to even store a constellation in it.
It will be bigger than that. Like the Bengal carrier alone can, I think, already probably fit a constellation in it as well. Yeah. But then, the Pegasus would definitely, I think, fit.
Even a Carrack, maybe.
Yeah, no.
But a Caterpillar.
I would maybe go for more something like a. Wait, are Carrack and C2 the same height actually? Now, let me look that up. Citizen.
Yeah. We know for a fact that you could fit a C2 and a Carrack on top of the Bengal carrier. Seen other people tried it. Just you can't land on it.
Yeah.
The Carrack is taller. Okay, so as I was trying to say, that you can then have something like the Pegasus would carry more something like Liberators or C2s, like that kind of height up until a max height of 25 meters.
Yeah.
And the Carrack is already 30 meters tall. So ship of that up until a certain height.
Because the Pegasus is nearly as long as the Bengal, I think.
I think it's slightly longer, yeah. But no, I know what you mean.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking. If the Pegasus is a kind of carrier, maybe it could fit big ships as well.
Yeah, no, I was thinking more like, how should I put it? Let's say you were to take a Cutlass, for instance.
Yeah.
And then make it, massive capital or large capital sized.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of course, change the design a bit. But then, and then have the rear be serving as the entrance towards its internal hangar. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, like remove future, like make it of course balanced, but yeah.
Well, we will see, I guess, since most of the bigger ships are subject to com, and some of them are maybe even subject to change depending on what they do with them. So anyway, anything else about this, I guess, or another thing to talk about?
Sure. Jared just tweeted not too long ago today, like maybe 5 hours or so. He's mentioned that in 3.18 there might not be cargo refactor, depending on how things go.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like it's not completely ready, and if they need to push it out in, what they assume like November, mid-November to end of November, they might have to backtrack and push cargo refactor to a later date.
Yeah, I think they were going to add in a few ships as well with like a points X update as well. Yeah, 3.18.x.
It'd be disappointing to have the cargo factory
Yeah.
factor pushed.
One thing
Right.
that I am curious about as well is Wolf, why? So you do hauling, yeah, and what's your reasoning to go for a C2? Or I mean a Hull C. That's what I mean.
Oh, Hull C.
Yeah.
Basically, because it does. I think I mentioned earlier, it does depend on how the cargo refactor works out whether I go for a Hull C.
Yeah.
It's for me. It's not just about like in a single load I can make 2 million credits. It's about the gameplay of it. It's a different challenge. It's one thing I go to a place in a freelancer max. You can just load up and you just go and see where the best price is, which unfortunately at the minute, and actually since I started playing, the prices are basically the same everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's more about just sort of going back and forth, personal challenge, see if you can get it done quicker, etc. But the Hull C, that's the first size of ship where the challenge becomes, can I find a niche in the market that I can, I'm the first one there, so I get more product. I can actually fill the Hull C, and then also like the kind of mini game, the loading the ship mini game. You would need to do that, and it becomes part of the kind of the market equation. I can, if I could get this cargo loaded automatically, but it's going to cost me so much. How much profit will I make, etc. It's the first ship that makes that into a game, as opposed to even the Hercules. It's got 600 odd SCU of cargo space, but all you do is move the slider along and fully load it and go sell it somewhere. There's no game to that. It's just a fetch quest basically. That's what appeals about the Hull C, but it does depend on how they refactor cargo, because it can't just be now you need to load the pallets on yourself. Sorry, pallets, containers. It needs to be that the market is a more vibrant place. So that
this whole market being dry situation would disappear with the introduction of expanded and more complex systems than just a 3 planets.
Yeah, and they're also working on the expanding quantum to be a lot more supply and demand style stuff as well. Or that's something else that I'm thinking about. Yeah.
No, that's it. You see, I've heard a lot of people speak about the fact that the game isn't built or isn't being built for one single system.
Yeah.
But I still think that within one system, it wouldn't be the case that every planet has the same purchase price, because I mean, like Stanton is actually not a good example, because in Stanton we have an arms dealer, a tech giant, and a ship manufacturer as the 3 main companies, and so they would actually. It's not a great example because they are so different from each other in what they would need. But even like a normal system, I've heard it said before by devs and also by people that what they're doing is they're building a game and they're supposed to be the hauling profit is made traveling from one system to another.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that should be the case. I think it should be the case that Hurston are just what they want are basically
raw
chemical.
material.
Well, Hurston would want chemicals to make high explosives and focusing laser crystals, things like that. Whereas Crusader would want metals, like enormous quantities of metals. So the prices between Hurston and Crusader should be different, but they're not at this point in time. And I think it should be possible to be a single system hauler that can make enormous sums of money, even if it's not a risky system.
If I may expand on what you're saying, it should be even differentiated between various areas of the same planet. I'm thinking we have a place called hydroponic plantation in
Yeah.
Stanton on a moon. That should require manure and stuff like that. Another place like mining area Orange should need food supplies and stuff. So
Yeah.
even in the same moon, on the same moon, it should be differentiated more, even more than just planet
And
by planet.
I know what you're saying, and actually, in actual fact, there's only one trade route in the entire Stanton system that doesn't involve selling your stuff on a planet or to one of the planetary systems. But yeah, it should be that I can go to the hydroponics place, buy a bunch of food, go to a mining base and sell that food.
Yeah.
Because they need the bloody food. Where's their food coming from? Is it,
they pull it out of
medical
their ass.
supplies as well are much more needed in a mining station than, for example, I don't know, in a high-end tech shop or something. For example, New Babbage. Honestly, how many meds would need compared to, I don't know, Lorville, where people are dying all over the place because of work-related injuries, for example.
Exactly. It does need to be so that there are different prices, and so the refactor can't just be that you manually load containers, and that's as far as they go with it. It should be a lot more. I don't expect it to be like finished game levels of economic complexity, but it should make things more complex economically. Otherwise, all you are doing is adding to a game loop for no extra gain. You're just taking away, and it already doesn't make money. But that's because it's broken. So I'm not going to judge it against that.
I was also wondering, since we talked about cargo, the Argo Raft is one of the ships that will have the bigger cargo containers, right?
Yeah, the 32 SU containers you can easily.
Well, yeah. So the advantage of the raft is that it can load the 32 SCU container on its external chassis, so you can load them quicker. You can basically just drop the ship down on top of a container and pick it up, as opposed to the 32 SCU container going into a freelancer. You'd need to slide it in very gently. It'll only fit in one way, and it'll only take one or two of them. So it's basically, what it offers is the ability to very quickly load a 32 SCU box.
But then again, I was wondering, how do you load the Argo Raft when you are in a closed hangar?
Yeah, so the boxes or the containers should spawn within like the cargo part of the hangar, and then you can then use a tractor beam or a vehicle in order to move the box underneath the Argo Raft, and then lift it up with the small elevator-like things that are on the raft.
But I was thinking, wouldn't be the usual tractor beam be too weak for those big containers?
Yeah, that's what the machine gun or the rifle style tractor beam is coming with.
Yes,
the big specialized one.
Yeah.
And the Argo Raft has a section in the back that already has a tractor beam that allows you to do that.
Yeah, it has a crane actually.
Yeah, it does.
Or it will get a crane, from what I know.
It's already built in, it's just not active.
Yeah.
It's got like a picker mechanism, which I guess is a crane, but it does have the tractor beam as well, so you can manipulate where the containers are.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah.
Wouldn't even the basic Aurora, the starter Aurora, have the space to actually hook on a container? If I recall.
The belly of the Aurora only has the width enough to carry one SCU boxes. So as you look at the belly on the exterior of the Aurora, there is already like one long container for I think like 4 SEU of cargo, if I'm not wrong.
It's 3. It's 3.
Oh, 3 SEU. Yeah, there you go. And then because it's like long and wide enough to have those boxes, and then you have the CL, which carries either 4 or 6. I'm not sure which. Again, could be wrong on that. But yeah, it carries a bit more cargo than the standard Aurora, and then you have then and then you have the Mustang as well, which has like the cargo thing coming down. And so, because of the width of those ships, they can only carry 1 SEO boxes. So let's say they were to make the raft a bit thinner, then that thing would also only be able to carry 1 SEO boxes. Yeah. And then they would of course have to make a lot of adjustments for it. Or, well, either make it able to carry a single 32 SEU container in the length of it. But yeah, it all depends on how the width of the ship is. And with the Hull series, they will get a lot bigger containers. Because, well, it's going to be a pain in the ass, and it's going to be shit for the server in order to have either, I think it was 20,000 single SCU boxes, or 1 SCU boxes, or the SCU containers. So that's why I think they're going for crates with 100 SCU, if I'm correct. I could be wrong.
I mean, I don't know.
But yeah, I know, like, as you can see in like the pictures of the Hull C, there'll be like massive containers that you can see, which are perfectly square, so I assume they're between 50 to 100 SCU, or some shit like that. But yeah, they're massive.
Which also brings up the question, like, is the Hull C going to be limited once fully loaded to certain planets it can land on?
No. So the Hull C will not be able to land planet side when it's loaded with cargo, or has its cargo spindles extended.
Yeah, because it's got the 4 spindles, and one of the spindles is on the bottom of the ship. It's ventral, so it wouldn't be possible to land with that spindle in use.
Yeah, same
although
with the
I think
DNA.
So I guess it would be more of a station to station. Cargo runner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or the idea being, I guess, that like with the Hull E, I think the intended gameplay is that a Hull E arrives in orbit over a planet and then is there for like a full week as contracts are just spewing out of it, saying, "Can you bring me a 32 SCU container from the planet or the moon, wherever?" It's there for an entire week. And that's actually why it's my opinion that the Hull E is not meant to be a player ship. It's meant to be an NPC ship. Because it's just there purely to generate missions and to be a huge thing in orbit.
Let's say it's floating up in orbit and people come up to it with Argo cargos.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
That's the
basically you have a huge load that needs to be brought to a city, area 18 for example, and then I guess a couple of Argo cargos fly some back and forwards lines between the ship and the city.
Yeah, and meanwhile the contract manager is just going crazy with a delivery contract. Can someone bring a 32 SCU box? And it could be either from the Hull E down or from the planet up to the Hull E.
Yeah.
It's just a contract, a gameplay generating thing. The Quanta system would go crazy with the Hull E. Whenever it's in town, it's the only game in town.
Yeah.
And escort contracts and please, these pirates are plotting to attack the Hull E that's around Arcor.
Yeah, I mean, with so much cargo at one place, that will basically get a lot of work for people that deliver the cargo down or new stuff back, and then protection service fought against pirates and pirates that plan to rob it and all that.
Exactly. I think that's why I think it's an NPC or an AI facing ship. It's not supposed to be human owned. because the humans are not going to want to put out contracts. You know, if you can imagine setting a beacon for each one of the cargo containers that your Hully has got, you'll be there for 3 days doing beacon after beacon. And you know, it'd employ too many players. I think it's supposed to be NPCs doing that, and it generates contracts and missions and events.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeeting a bottle across the table now, are we?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Also, another thing that that we did talk about like off stream quite a lot is the one thing I hate about cargo, which is about hauling, which is why I went for the Merchantman instead of the Hull C, is I want to fly solo and I don't want escorts with me, and so and I hate how little defenses the Hull C has, or the Hull series have. And so, yeah, that's kind of why I went with the Merchantman, in order to just have internal cargo and have it armored and with defenses. Really.
Yeah.
I'm
probably gonna be really happy when they someday in the future add the possibility to recruit NPCs for work on your ship.
Oh yeah, they will. But the one thing that if I do fly solo, I don't want to recruit NPCs. I don't want to have blades in my turrets, let's say. I would just be happy enough to go from A to B, sell my cargo, or go A, buy cargo, B, sell cargo. You know, just repeat that entire cycle. And I think want something armored.
There's probably some ship, some room there for you to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I guess there will be the safer, less profitable cargo routes, and then again the more profitable but more dangerous routes.
Yeah, but then let's say like, so if I were to get a Hull C and then Hull whatever, like very high earning cargo, that would be high on I would be high on the list of pirates, because everyone will look at Hull C and be like, ooh, cargo, and then they start attacking me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they'll scan it and see only one crew. That means it's got no turrets.
Exactly.
There's no escort anywhere near you. You're a sitting duck.
Exactly.
I know you said we've spoken about this off stream.
Yeah.
And I'll repeat it just because we're on stream now. But I really dislike the idea of needing an escort.
Yeah, same.
When you're doing a hauling mission.
Yeah.
I think and 90% of the time, the escort that you've hired will have a very boring gameplay experience.
Yeah.
I noticed that as well with people just here with my C2 alone. It's like a lot of people offer up to be escorts, and it's just like, you can't do shit. Why are you flying with me? It's like, yeah, it's safe, and then you go back and forth 1 or 2 times, and then I just feel bad and pay the person like 500k and make them go away, because I just feel very bad for them.
Yeah, because I mean, it might be fun for a little while to roleplay an escort for a merchant, but there's no money in it. From a gameplay perspective, everybody loses. The trader is spending money that they shouldn't need to, and the escort is basically flying around. It's again these fetch quests that games so often just put in as filler. And I worry that a lot of the proposed, it's not just the needing to escort the merchants, it's a lot of gameplay elements just seem like these kind of useless filler that's actually, when you come to think of it, it's not very fun.
Yeah,
the latest example is what we saw in the Reclaimer with the salvage gameplay. So you could have yourself a vulture where you press M, I assume, and it brings up the salvaging mode.
Yeah.
And you just happily scraping the hulls away. Whereas in the Reclaimer, you've got 2 people on turrets, 1 person piloting the ship, and then God knows how many people down below just moving boxes from one place to another.
Yeah, no.
Is that gameplay? I did see.
I mean,
just to finish, I did see there's this channel on YouTube called Ray's Guide. I've been watching that because it's been suggested to me, and he came up with a very interesting. In fact, a lot of the time he has interesting perspectives. But his perspective on it was that is actually the most important role on the ship, and therefore the owner, captain of the ship should be there. That should be their place. But still, it's not gameplay. It's just as bad as Blackadder on this table right here, being the guy during Jumptown when we were doing it all as one big org. Jumptown, so Blackadder was inside the building just pulling the packages out of the machine and stacking them up. I just, meanwhile I'm out, fighting off the opposition org that we were against. There's people down on the ground doing FPS combat, and still Blackadder's just tractor tool pulling boxes. That's not actual gameplay, and I think they need to focus on that more. And now I'll be quiet so you guys can.
So like it is not gameplay. I do admit that as well, but you can still make it fun. And I assume that it will be a lot more fun than because you can then also just talk with each other and fuck about and find out, But then it sounds a lot more fun to me than being an escort for someone, and just having to just waste fuel basically, and not fire a single shot.
Yeah. The alternative is that you would raise a beacon to have an escort. Someone would accept that beacon.
Yeah.
And then because there is a beacon in the system, there are NPCs that come to attack your ship.
Yeah, that will be quite a lot better.
So,
I mean, I think anyway that there will be more like pirate NPCs and all that actually attacking.
Yeah, that's also what the Quantum will do as well. It's like the more popular, so let's say everyone in the system would suddenly go towards HDMS best deck to get the titanium from there and then fly off to wherever to sell it. The way that the quantum system will work is like it will realize, a lot of people are going there, let's increase the pirate activity there. But then at the same time, because there's a lot more pirates after a while, let's increase the defender, like the police / military area effect in that area as well, in order to then balance it out. And so that's how it will then go,
But that's still what it means is that you, as a hauler, you need an escort.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be attacked by pirates.
Yeah, but
possibly. I disagree with that bit fundamentally. Even if it ends up that there's loads of NPC pirates all over the place for that escort to deal with.
Yeah.
It still shouldn't be. It should just be like right now. I could do a bunch of hauling, and I know that the other 50 players on the server that want to do combat can just take missions. There are just bounty hunter missions, mercenaries, whatever.
Yeah.
Just all over the place, and they're happy. I'm happy. Why does it need to be that we have to be happy in the same little sphere as each other, where all it does is increases the risk for me, and because I'm now paying the escort instead of the game, giving contracts out, I lose less money and I have risk of being destroyed.
Yeah. And then to get to unless anyone else has a point to bring in with this, I'll take it as a no. No, but then to get back to also like repeat what we were having about it off stream, that was also kind of the reason that I made the post that I did on the Spectrum about the armored cargo ships with heavy defenses. Because it's like you have a train, basically like a train that is about the size of, about the length of, let's say, a Cutlass Black as a starter ship, but it's armored and already has a turret for a second player to control. And otherwise you're good. You do have it can also be controlled by the pilot, let's say. But because they're so armored and can carry a lot, basically have to. You're very slow. So of course you will get attacked, but you have the defenses to I'm getting a call. Why the fuck am I getting a call? What? Right. Anyway.
Popular, man. Come on.
No, I was getting a call in game.
Mhm.
But no, just to get back to what I was trying to
I
say.
mean, somebody can see your location.
Yeah. Apparently so. But no, so yeah, you will be slow. And then the way that else that I had it in post is like you start eventually you get to like the massive capital size ships that have entire landing pads on the roofs of them in trade for roof mounted turrets. They can haul a lot, but they are as slow as the Reclaimer is in the game today, let's say, or even slower than that. And they trade that in for armor and heavy defenses. But they can still carry as much as a Hull C, even though they're way bigger.
That all depends on armor refactor. Like from what we know so far, armor refactor when it comes in, your size 1, size 2 guns gonna be virtually useless, like pea shooters on top of the armor if the ship does have armor.
Yeah.
Mm.
But then you have with a Hull C, let's say, the way, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, those spindles are not protected by shields. So then you then you have people with size 1 cannons, because I assume that the spindles are not really that armored as well. So that people can shoot off the cargo from the spindles, and then just take that.
I mean, they did say it's the risk of when you have the cargo on the outside, like on all the hulls.
Yeah, exactly.
Can get shot off.
Yeah, and that's why. Yeah, but that also takes the fun away from it. Sorry, Don. You go ahead.
No, go on.
Oh, but yeah, that does take the fun away from it, in my opinion, because I end up, let's say, with a Hull C, I end up wasting 1 million in order to haul titanium. But then by the end of as I arrive, I have lost almost 3/4 of my cargo of titanium to pirates, because all they could do is just release one shot and then destroy an entire spindle, and just that's it. I end up losing a total of 900,000, for instance. That's
true. But what if you like think of it the other way? So right now we don't have pyro, and you have a Hull C right now. You can hold a decent amount of cargo, more than even the C2.
Yeah, okay.
The moneymaker would be, the lucrative one would be very little money spent buying either medical supplies or food, and go over to pyro to different stations dropping off supplies.
Yeah.
You spend very little, maybe not even 500,000, and getting paid almost 3 million because of the distance and the scarcity of the food required.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, no, that's more like that also depends on how things will go. But I'm more saying as in, if you were to look at the economy from Stanton and then in as the system is right now. But then of course it will be a lot different. But that's how I'm seeing it for now, and probably will be for quite a long time. It's just that that's again the reason why I went for the Merchantman, is because I don't want to lose my cargo by pirates who can just destroy a single spindle with a few shots of their weapons, and then take a quarter of my cargo.
If I may, should they add boarding the way they promised they would? Back in
how did they promise?
With
the Legionnaire, I think you're talking about, Don. Yeah, so
because it would make a very sense. Like it would make a lot of sense if that kind of ship would be used by pirates. Because if you can board others, steal cargo, and then just zoom away, like that sounds.
The Legionnaire would not have the space to. Well, I mean, it could of course steal a bit of cargo and then maybe a lot less. But what I assume the Legionnaire would then have as a problem is, depending on the ship, it might encounter the defenses. So they have to make sure that the defensive turrets are destroyed first.
I mean, it depends, because if you're talking a hammerhead, for example, you can just approach it from an angle from below, and you're safe.
No, it has a turret there below.
But it doesn't properly cover everything. There are a couple of blind spots.
Does it?
And
I thought it could like full cover 360 degrees on every angle of the bottom turret.
It can do that, but it's about pitch and on the y-axis.
Okay. No, but like
first of all, that would be irrelevant anyway, because you would need to find the docking collar of the hammerhead, and that is not on the bottom of the ship. The second point is that the Legionnaire is supposed to have an E-War set up so that it can disable the defenses of a ship that it targets.
Mm-hmm.
Basically hacking, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the main purpose of it is like to dock and infiltrate the ship to get control of the ship itself.
Or board and destroy, maybe. You just go in loaded with explosives.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. That's one of the problems with the Legionnaire. It's another ship that CIG tried to make a gameplay for, but it didn't really work out because, like, the only way it's going to work is if a ship is crippled already, which is very rare.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that's why it will mostly be used in pirate groups, in my opinion. I think, like as like a, it will stay far away from the battle, and then once the ship is let's say the hauler or Hull C, is crippled enough, then it will come in, swoop in, hack it, destroy or ruin the defensive, and then take over the ship.
I mean,
when it comes to repair, when it comes to repair, does the Legionnaire give us any clues that what they're thinking of? Like, if your ship has been disabled through combat, and it's not like I'm not talking single-seater fighters here, you spend so long trying to repair the ship that it gives time for someone with a Legionnaire that was just outside of the battle area to come in, to hack you, to board you, and then so is it going to take that long to repair the ship? Or do you think that actually it's just a case where CIG have not really thought through what the boarding mechanics should look like?
Definitely the latter.
It's the latter 100% for me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but...
Probably yes, like you say, because I mean, the only ships that actually can dock are the big ones. I mean, even if you have a Phoenix with the docking collar, have you ever seen one docked?
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm curious about as well, is because like, the main thing of the Legionnaire will be the capital class docking collar that it has. But what about other ships that have, well, standard, smaller variant docking collars? And then same with the way that they've implemented docking as well at the moment in game. It's like you can dock something with the what's that refueling ship called again? The Starfarer? The Starfarer. Yeah. Like you have ships that can dock with it, and you can request to any ship really in order to dock. But how do you do that? I'm quite curious.
I would have to ask a friend. He has a Starfarer, and I did dock to his ship.
Yeah, no, I know how to dock with the Starfarer. Like, you can request a dock, and then once the pilot accepts, you can auto dock. But then, I mean, let's say docking constellations with each other, or docking using the small docking collar of the Reclaimer on its roof.
The problem is, I guess, many ships do have the docking collars, but not an actual docking. How would you say? Canal?
Yeah.
Like you may have the door for it. You may have the door for it to dock, but you don't have anything to extend to actually dock to another ship.
That's true. And
that's not gonna really be. That won't be a problem because from the diagram and the picture shown when the Legionnaire came on, it has an extension tube. So it looks like an extension tube, like a station would, and that reaches out to the door. So that's not an issue. And even the bigger ones, like say, if you had a hammerhead, there was a docking collar where the station ones, noticed, it had two versions of it. So the bigger version would be open all the way, and the smaller version would be like a slight small door, like half the size of the elevator door. And so it all depends on them refactoring and refixing all the docking collar doors, so it's usable,
Yeah.
and they definitely will.
Okay, I see.
Quick question. Going back to the boarding idea, there is plenty of time to for them to change their minds about how they want to go through with that. They could also do something like the Roman bridge thing. So instead of having to kind of dock to the other ship after hacking it, you can just, you know, breach their hull with a tube and have your infantry just storm the other ship. Um, I don't know if I can give you the picture, the idea. If because I'm thinking the Roman ships had these boarding bridges, they just rammed into the enemy ship, lowered their bridge, and just let the infantry do the thing.
Yeah, they fought a land war, but on a boat.
Right.
Yeah,
At this point, I don't think they've implemented it, but I assume CIG might do something like that where it lets you just pierce the hull of the ship.
yeah, because it would make a lot of sense, and it would also
Yeah.
allow for pirates to have something fun to work with to, you know, sack a ship instead of
Yeah,
just destroying
but
it.
I
Mm.
guess for something like that to work, the first would need to add new damage models to the ship that you actually could rip out enough hull to get to the insides.
They
Well,
could.
hull scraping, right?
House Craven. Yeah, because it should be on already, yeah?
Yeah. Well, the hull scraping is coming, and I
Yeah.
would say that that is capable of making a hole in the ship.
hmm
I hope yes, because I thought it's more like the outside hull, but there is still like something in the way to get to the inside.
Yeah, like the internal hull. But it might be a case where, like, because they have the hull scraping mechanic, there are places on the ship where you can make a full hole.
That would be
Uh,
nice.
Basically, like
yeah.
some of the shipwrecks, you should be able to cut with the cut module on the multi-tool.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
I look forward to that being a thing.
I'm
But
thinking.
if you can make a hole through hull scraping, you can certainly make a hole. Maybe that's where what's the name of the cannon? Everyone, the C88, C8.
Yeah,
The,
the T8 is the big one, yeah.
it's the big cannon, and it basically makes a big high explosive explosion.
Mm.
It sounds awesome. It's one of the best sounding cannons, but they nerfed it. But I wonder if they're
Yeah.
going to make that cannon so it may basically acts as a hull scraper, but it explosively.
So basically, a breaching cannon.
Yeah, like a breaching cannon, exactly. And the idea would be that a pirate who knows what they're doing will
Yeah.
look at a cutlass and go, I need to hit it here with my breaching cannon, make a hole, and then, disable its engines or
Yeah.
whatever. And
But with
that's where my breaching team can get it.
one thing added, that you can only breach it when the shields are down.
Yes, I mean,
Uh,
yeah.
on that note, it would be nice to have like a stealth ship, a stealth hacking ship that could just, you know, it, it's something stupid, but
I
Mhm.
mean,
just to give you an idea, just the stealth ship goes around stealthily through the battlefield, hacks a ship, turns off their engines, and rams into them, creating a breach that can be crossed on foot. You
couldn't
know?
that basically be done with an EMP?
Mm,
Yeah,
that's
but
a
I'm
good
thinking a
point.
ship that like once it rams into the enemy ship, it just hooks on like a harpoon and creates a bridge you can walk through. So you can just go over there, go inside, kill everybody. Instead of
I
just
mean,
going through the you could go through the usual doors after an EMP, or you could just it's just one extra breaching point. You will be hooked on. You know,
so
I
basically breaching like the Space Marines of 40k.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
as in
yeah
the aliens in Halo.
In
yeah
fact, there
yeah.
is one of the alien species in this game's lore has got that technology. They're like I can't remember what they actually call them, but they're basically breaching.
Fun.
okay.
No, I think it was the Vandal that have them.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
sounds
the,
like a
the
Vandal thing to
Vandul
have.
are the ones with the, I guess, the blades on the ships to attack.
Yes.
So I guess they
Yeah.
could make a completely bladed ship to breach another ship.
Yeah.
That
The
sounds like
thing
a
I'm
Halo
thinking
drop
of
on
is
that
it's
one.
on their corvettes or some of the smaller capital ships. Anyway, they have these like very sharp, pointy pods.
Yeah.
That
And
one
I
of their
mean,
crew gets in and it gets fired like a torpedo,
oh,
reaches
okay.
into an enemy ship, and then you've got an enemy soldier aboard.
Yeah. Since I
Exactly
mean
like the
that
Covenant in
makes
Halo.
that makes even sense with the Vandul, since they do like close combat in like foot soldier situations. And also, like the scythe, for example, the left wing is supposed to be a blade. No, not the left, the right wing. Was it the longer one of them? Both of them is supposed to be a blade where you can ram another fighter with.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
I've heard
exactly
that.
what I was trying to convey. Yeah, thanks.
Because when you look at the blade at certain, I guess, animations, when you use the cannons, there's a part of a wing that's moving a little bit, and I always was thinking, why does it have a blade that doesn't have any use to it right now? And it's because it is supposed to be used to like a switchblade to put it out to ram another ship.
Yeah, that was the idea of that one. It used to, apparently, when it was first released, it used to actually be able to live when it rammed another ship.
Yeah.
But I wasn't around when it was released, so I don't know.
Yeah,
My feeling is that it was just that the physics in the game engine weren't made.
Yeah,
and
probably.
everyone was bouncing off each other when they rammed, so it didn't matter.
And what's the other one? Not the scythe, but
The glaive?
Yeah, the one with that's not asymmetrical, that has two big wings.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that
I
one.
think that one maybe should have blades on both sides then.
It's a smaller ship with less armor, though. So it's probably not going to be able to ram and live.
No, then it's not the glaive, it's the other one. It's like the scythe one that you can't buy. How's it called? Because the glaive you can buy at Astra Armada, right?
Yeah, it's viable. I don't know where, but it is viable.
But
Is it the blade?
Blade?
Yes, the one that you have to do the swarm mission to get access to buy?
Yeah. No, it's that one. Yeah, that one that when you do the swarm, you can use it in arena commander. That's the glaive, yeah. No, it's the glaive. The blade is the smaller one, right?
Right, okay. That I was getting mixed up then. Okay.
Because I think they might make a Vandul ship that will be able to breach like that. Since it's part of the lore of either a Vandul or another alien race, right?
I remember somebody in the org was telling me that they're not sure, they don't think it's going to be, they made a convincing argument that they don't think it's going to be in the PU, but it's definitely a Squadron 42 feature that there are like breaching abilities that they have, the Vandal.
So I guess it's more of a cinematic feature to the single player experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's a decent plot device. How do you get enemy soldiers aboard without the ship being completely overrun? You use breaching pods.
Basically, a torpedo that can enter ship with bringing a soldier inside without hurting him.
Yes, exactly.
I have to see what happens. Like, it's up to CIG how they want to do things. Like.
Oh yeah, now we could bring up the discussion about, do you think it's a big scam or not?
Yeah, that's actually not what I realized actually a few minutes ago. It's like, we haven't actually heard Don his story. He's been here for he was here at the table, but he's now just in the voice chat.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he can still talk with us.
Yeah,
yeah,
I've been
he
talking
is still
with
talking.
you.
Oh no, hang on. Nico is here. He's down in this corner.
No,
That's him right
that's a pirate
No.
corpse, I think.
This-
His body
this
just
guy.
vanished. Yeah, that's a pirate. Or an NPC there.
All right.
Yeah, I think
It
that's
might
an NPC.
literally be a pirate, but I was role
I
playing.
dragged the pirate
Yeah.
over there.
This one.
Because I was planning on stealing his armor to sell it, you know, when I get to a planet. But you know, internet connection, yeah.
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 Anyway,
But
so
we're gonna put you at the table so you can have your bit to speak.
Yeah,
Here we are.
Yeah,
Kind of. He's kind of at the table. Let's pretend he's sat down.
Yeah, let me just say,
It's just
I
drunk, yeah.
already forgot the topic, so
yeah, so
Not bad.
to ask the question is like, how long have you been playing the game for?
Ooh, I believe I started back in 2019, January 2019.
Oh, so a year after Wolf Dead.
Well, only
Yeah,
a
yeah,
couple
yeah,
of
yeah.
after me, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Because yeah, like 2 weeks after I started playing, I found Wolf and Eddie in a lobby and just in word chat, and just it happened like in 2 days time. I was into the server and just chatting with Canis and people.
Oh, fair enough.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was like barely 2 weeks in, and I became an Elysian. So yeah.
And then, what's the main thing that you do within the game?
Well, main
Crash.
thing I do, huh?
Crash. As in game crashes.
Yeah, having crashes, 30Ks, despawning in ArcCorp, respawning in a hospital bed in Horizon. Yeah, stuff like that is the main thing I do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I like to sightsee actually, and other than that, if we're talking about money making, I'm a hauler. I'm a space trucker on 991. And yeah, I'm a hauler mainly. I would like to try salvaging in the future, data mining, hacking, that kind of stuff. Is my drive. Also, something I would like to do are commercial flights. Like
Oh yeah, like with the Genesis Starliner once that comes in the game.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, something like that. But instead of being instead of being from a part of planet to the other, I would like to do like a shuttle from Horizon to Pyro, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, like system commercial flights.
Yeah, or
yeah.
even between planets, commercial flights from all over the place.
Nice.
Because I like to see what they can do with a blank piece of universe and just create and mold a perfect world.
Right.
I love the new Babbage era because they did something good with that icy era. So you will always find me hanging around caves or just driving a road vehicle around the planets and stuff like that. So I'm not a moneymaker. I'm always poor, just like in real life. So yeah, if we're talking money right now, hauling. That's most of what I do.
And then the main question, I don't know if I asked anyone else that at the beginning of the podcast, but what do you think about the game? I mean, like, we in the chat now, but like, do you care to explain?
Okay, so nothing personal, okay.
But
I have nothing against the game per se, but we are not playing a game. We are playing the promise of a game. It's like they're making us sniff some smoke, telling us there will be food, but it's been 10 years and there's no food. We're still having smoke.
So like an yeah.
And yeah, I'm also might kinda be slightly thinking it might just be a scam, because with 100 million and more of USD,
I think it's 700 million at the moment.
that have been funneled there through crowdfunding, this is not what 100 million of funding look like,
Yeah,
or
no, that's
gameplay wise. So I my feelings towards the game and Chris Roberts are those of anger. Actually.
yeah, no, that's right. That yeah, I guess I somewhat understand your feelings. I'm still, I guess you could call it a phase where I'm still in the sense of like, oh well, this is a wonderful game. Can't stop playing it really, and I hope to be here for a very long time.
Yeah,
And
I mean that is part of the reason why I only got the basic Aurora actually,
yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm already poor by
yeah.
myself. So, finally money and getting Alligator's pack. Eh, if I don't
No,
know the thing that's gonna come out, I ain't gonna buy more.
no, honestly, that's why I just went first for like also had the Aurora, but then I decided to because I hated it. It didn't like it. The missions that I could would only do if it were box missions, and so I wanted
Mm,
something bigger, and that's why I went. My next upgrade would have been the freelancer, which I did upgrade it to, and then
mm,
because well yeah I wanted to do something more, and that's what I used as a starter ship for a while until I then moved back towards the Nomad.
mm. Well, honestly, my favorite ship so far that I've used, I believe I flew pretty much every ship in game so far.
Yeah,
But the one that gave me, the best, the most satisfaction
yeah.
was the Freelancer Max actually.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of people
A
have that
Freelancer
apparently.
Max in which I stripped off its natural lasers and hooked on 4 Gauss cannons.
Oh
So
wow,
it just became a long range sniper. Like I remember I was hitting targets almost 20 kilometers away with that one.
wow.
So it was pretty fun. It was actually much more versatile than one would think
Yeah,
with that kind of setup because it was a long range sniper. It's very durable. You can do hauling. You can. I had a rock mining thingy
yeah.
that I just brought around with me in my freelancer max, just going planet hopping and mining and just then storing it in the max. It was good fun. It
Oh
was
yeah.
good fun.
And
And
then
in the meantime, just shooting down some baddies or getting shot down by
yeah,
Wolf and others in the org
and then
because
yeah.
yeah, I can't dogfight.
And
I
then the
can't
question
dogfight.
I did ask the others at the beginning of the stream. Do you have any ship that you would like to get, as in pledge or just in game, that
Okay,
might come out in the future?
in game because I ain't gonna pledge.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
I cannot recall the name to save my life, but there was this modular ship with domes,
Oh
Ah,
yeah,
the
and
that
Endeavor.
Endeavor. Yeah,
yeah, that one looks fun.
yeah. Okay,
Looks
yeah.
looks real fun, right down my alley.
The only thing that
If
I have with the Endeavor is that you will only get the base ship and you have to purchase the modules separately.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of itchy. But considering I'm gonna do it, in game for in game,
Yeah,
that actually makes sense to me. It's like you want more, you're gonna pay more. It's like you get a car, you can get the basic version,
yeah.
or you can get the full optional version, or the various in
Or
between.
yeah, the various modifications. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Ah,
I
that's
mean,
fair.
that's how I feel about it.
And I have to. Do you have any gameplay things that are not in the game nor have been announced yet that might, that you hope or dream of will eventually come into the game? For example, news reporting or stuff like that.
Ooh, well, that opens up a lot whole of possibilities. I mean,
But think about like one thing that you would read, like that is one thing that you'll be like, I want to get that. If that comes in the game, I want to get it to that thing or to do that thing as soon as possible.
it is not actually something to do, but it's something that would actually bring chaos to the whole world, and it is actually the dynamic economy system.
Yeah, I mean, it might not really bring chaos. That's more. That is a system that they are working on, the quantum system. The supply demand, and then raising the price, the lower supply, and then of course
I
lowering
believe
price higher.
that when there will should ever there be all the systems they promised, in 4031, um, you know, I believe there would be chaos because there would be, tryharders and sweaters and stuff,
Oh yeah,
not the ones
definitely.
you were, the peoples who are very sweaty playing a game.
Yeah.
And they would just try to hog a system because it has so much, I don't know, titanium and stuff, or diamonds, or I don't know, drugs, or I don't know.
Yeah.
And like they just there would be like war, like
Yeah, the moment
orgs
that the moment
declaring
another hall that
wars
comes to
on
the
each
game, yeah.
other. There would be like a huge mess. So I'm really hoping we get a very strong foothold, in the on the Elysian system. We'll
Yeah.
just make peaceful as fuck.
No, that's fair enough. And then
That's honestly what I believe is the most interesting thing that could come about. Should ever, you know,
yeah.
should ever. When my great 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 grandchildren will be still cursing
Yeah.
at the connection that will make them crash.
I do have high hopes because from what I remember that beginning of this year with the chairman letter, then for the first time in quite a few years, they finally started to talk about the beta again, and that it might that with if things go as planned, which of course they never do, but then with high hopes, it might go into beta by I think they said mid 2023 or or like around 2024, somewhere that year, those years.
I'm sorry, but I really do not believe it because
I don't
I
honestly, I don't
recall
believe
when
it
they
either,
first
but
announced Quadrant 42. If I'm not mistaken, it should have come out in 2018, 19, something like that.
yeah, it's
Pyro should have come out in 2020, stuff like that.
yeah, no, but then
It's not like you can call this a beta. I mean, I
no,
honestly do
it's not
not
even a
believe.
beta. This is an alpha. They say that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I know, but like beta by 2024, I honestly don't see that happening. I mean, I would need like at least 5 or 6 systems, stuff like
No.
that.
Ah, if you're wondering where I went, my game crashed.
Ah, okay, right, yeah, but then as we were talking about earlier, like also about this subject, same subject, as what my idea was, and what I think is that they're first going to implement the main 5 things to do, and that, in my opinion, that will be hauling, combat, mining, salvaging, and which one did I say again? Um, well, yeah, no, yeah, just hauling, mining, combat, salvaging, and maybe I think so. I also mentioned something else.
I thought you mentioned 5.
Yeah, I thought I mentioned 5 as well.
Trying to keep it straight in my head now. So yeah, combat, mining, trading,
Exploring.
Oh yeah, exploring.
exploring.
Yeah, and then add those, add like a few bits of those 5 in, and then yeah, well then once those are in, and then they'll throw the game into beta. And I'm not talking about something that what I see is more as a I guess you could call it like a second-hand project, or a second or subcategory of the main 5, as in data running. I see that as a subcategory of hauling. That they're not going to add that in yet until the game until they've added in the main things. That so salvaging will come into the game now, and then pyro will come in, and Nyx, and as far as I know as well, and as they've said, Pyro, Nyx, and Stanton will be the 3 base systems for the procedurally generated star system program that they're going to use. And so once those 3 systems are in, and the 5 main jobs, again, combat, hauling, salvaging car and and
Mhm.
once those are in, that's when that's when the game will go into beta, and that could go maybe within again mid 2023, early 2024, or they could just suddenly decide to say fuck it, we'll make it again many years later.
Yeah.
And then it ends up going on for 4 generations of people before finally releasing into fucking beta.
I mean, I
Well-
personally think it will still take ages until it's getting
it
finished.
definitely will.
But I think it has gotten too big to still be a scam.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No,
When the conversation came up about it being a scam, and I'm talking
Sorry.
no, it's fine. It's an interesting topic to speak about because I know that there are like people on Reddit that actually think it's a scam, and I'm not convinced that you're one of those people who think that Chris Roberts is a con artist.
No.
It just seems as though what we've been told the product is not the product that is being developed. And that to me is a really interesting thing because in a way it's true. The original this is why I say when the chat conversation came up, the text chat in the group,
Mhm.
that someone in the group thought it was a bit of a scam. I was like, okay, I need to go and school this fool. But it's kind of true because I actually went back and I had to look on like an archive, but it wasn't on YouTube. I can find it. Of the original Kickstarter video, what did Chris Roberts actually say the product was going to be? And he basically said by 2014 there'd be 100 systems, multiplayer, open world, basically what we have now, but not the 100 systems part. And then he went into a lot of detail about like the detail of the modeling. So rather than just ship go up, it was you ask your ship to go up and it calculates the amount of thrust it would need. Do I have that on my bottom thrusters? Etc. etc. So it was like a simulation in that kind of way. We have all of that, but we don't have the 100 systems. And then as a brief history lesson, they expected that to be like a 2014 release, got this enormous amount of money, $100 billion. And then that was million, not billion. And then they got carried away. Well, in particular, I say Chris got carried away.
He got a yacht, by the way.
Yeah, he did. He did buy himself a yacht, like in 2016, I think. Anyway, by 2014, they got carried away, and the thing, I'll make this short. The thing I think is I don't think it's a scam. I think there's a very good point to be made by looking at it as a kind of, well, we're not going to be delivered the product we were told, in the perspective of we listened to a dreamer. I can see a lot of what Chris Roberts says is he wanted to be the next George Lucas when he was a kid, then got into developing computer games and just basically pursued the same goal over and over again. He did Wing Commander, Freelancer, all of his history. He's basically trying to make an epic Star Wars space game every single time he makes a game. Then he made a film, which I haven't seen, but apparently it's mediocre at best.
Yeah.
And then he came back to games and he's tried to do it again. And people gave him $100 million to do it. And that's when the dreamer side of him really took over. And I think he now wants to deliver so much more than what is technically possible, what is practical, etc.
Yeah,
And he knows he's got a dilemma. Sorry, go on. I've spoken for way too long, so I'll let you interrupt.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but one thing that they also said as well back when they did go open 2014, talking about how it will take another few years, they did mention as well, it's like, we know that we have looked into it, and the things that we need are there. Like, everything that you could need in order to basically make the game that the way that they want to make are fully there. They're fully made and everything. But the problem that they've encountered is that nothing works together. And so, let's say they have the fuel system for like how how much fuel a ship has, how much it will take when you fly it, and all that stuff. It's there, but if for some reason they for some reason could not get it for work at all with the actual ship itself and with the model and the way that they wanted it to have. And
I think what you're speaking about is so in 2014 there was a vote essentially a vote that not all of the backers knew about. So not all of the backers participated in this vote. But the vote result was, and the question of the vote was, do we expand the game's scope to be so much bigger than it is? And that was eventually what was decided. Yeah, we're going to make it bigger.
Yeah.
Or do we just release this comparative, by relative standards, this tiny game that delivers all the deliverables? Because for $100 million, we can do so much more. So that's from the back of that vote. And what was said was, actually, when you say about they have all of the tech and all of the things that they need are there, but none of it's working together, it's basically what they said is they gave a bunch of examples from other games or other places within software and said, this is possible. All of these things we're talking about have been done or are about to be done.
Yeah, but they need.
All we're saying is we need to find a way to smash them all together so they all work together.
Yeah.
Because and at the time in 2014, you had things like Google was just starting to use massive data, things to be able to put everything together. YouTube, in particular, had just done it where there was no longer like if someone posted a video in America, it would have to be basically downloaded, installed to the European servers before any Europeans could watch the video. And they had just solved the problem that allowed any video to be instantly available to anyone in the world using server tech. And that was one of the examples that Chris made to basically say, it exists. That kind of tech exists. And we think we can smash it into our game and make our game bigger and better. Do you want to do that? And like a small proportion of the fan base said yes, so it happened. And then that's where it's led to now. But the whole point, the whole thing, kind of tells me Chris Roberts is a dreamer. And the thing about dreamers is, I mean, they're fantastic people, have lots of good ideas, etc. But they very rarely finish anything because it's dreams. Dreams are very difficult to manifest. Yeah. So I don't think it's a scam. I think that it's a thing that will just roll forever and ever. And without a publisher and without public pressure, like backers saying no, enough is enough, it's just going to keep rolling. But personally, I think that the line is drawn whether you are okay with that or you're not okay with that. Me personally, I'm totally fine with that. I joined in 2018 with a freelancer. I could load up full of stuff. I could be a truck driver, and I could go from one place to another, buy, sell, and that's all I wanted to do. Anything else, everything else, is just gravy, just a cherry on top of the icing on top of the cake. That's all I wanted, and that's what I got. Whereas there are some people who think that the game should be something that it's not, or not yet, or never going to be.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe those people are the ones who feel differently and think, well, this is a scam because all Chris wants us to do is just keep paying for him to own a yacht, and keep us stringing us along. You know, telling us that there's going to be this amazing thing at the end when there never will be. There's never going to be an end in sight. And it is just personal preference. Do you like the idea or do you not like the idea?
Right. Like, I do think he's taking a little far from 2011 since he started this. Like, he got the funding to do a certain particular game.
Yeah.
Everything seemed to be feasible on what he wanted to accomplish from other developers doing the same thing. And he thought, like, I could do it because other people had proven it could be done. And let me just incorporate and do everything together. But he didn't have the experience of running a company. Since then, he's been bleeding out a lot of money. He's corrected that a lot, but still a lot of money has been put into the game, which, to our dismay and others, like, he has never forced anyone to invest more than he has to, like the beginner starter package. It's always a personal preference if you wanted to. With that being said, like, he left it to I guess, the voters or the patrons who supported his initial thing. Would you like a Squadron 42? And some said yes, some said no. It was a kind of really 50-50 mix. And because they empowered him to do it, he did do it. And he's kind of using the funding from the main game to pursue that aspect and creating a game off of that. And, like, we empowered him to do it. Like, if he said no, he would have not done it.
Yeah.
I mean, and for me personally, I started the game in like a year ago or so, was just a starter package. My goal was like everybody else is like $35. Okay, I could do that. Then I was like, I'm not spending another penny, and now I'm concierge. That tells you how far I've came.
I feel with you on that.
Yeah, I almost have the same.
But I mean, even if it will be something that will never be fully finished, for me, as long as I have fun with it and it's playable and every now and then something tiny or a little bit bigger comes to it to do or to see, I think it's all right, because if you think about the fact that he wanted to add those 100 or what systems, I'm sure that would never be finished fast if everything will be as detailed as it is so far.
Right. But
may-
we'll definitely go towards that, and I believe he will actually achieve it. Just depends on how long.
Yeah,
Like, to
I mean,
reiterate,
it could totally be possible that in, I don't know, 2060 or something, there's a finished Star Citizen somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That would
right,
be
as to reiterate Will's point, like, he is a dreamer, and we loved his dream or his ideal dream, and that's why we decided to join in on this endeavor. Which it's great. It's such a great game, but every single time something new comes out technology-wise, he wants to veer off and do something else different and or improve it. Which we get all the benefits of it if you've been playing consistently through the years.
Yeah.
But that's fine for me. I knew what I was getting in. Everything's great for what it is. And how many games could you actually name right now you could play that's this gorgeous, up to 4K, or even some people even try 8K? This well polished, even in alpha, playable, such big areas, and you don't have to pay a monthly fee.
That is indeed true. But if I may, be the pain in the group, the few times I can actually speak because of my internet connection, I do agree with what you said, but it's been 10 years. Can we at least get in NPCs that do not sit through the floor? Like,
or flow in air.
Yeah, or like there is one NPC out, I cannot remember which space station, that just runs through outer space. I
Oh
got
yeah,
my ship
Portal as well.
pushed by that NPC. Okay,
Yeah.
like I'm not saying I want a full game because, well, you said it's a dream, and you know the 100 systems is a pretty huge thing, but at least one working system I wouldn't mind after 100 mil. You know,
Okay, I understand where you're coming from. Like, you don't play often as much as some of us other players do, and come out all the time. Like, you jump from patch to patch and so forth,
mhm.
and so therefore you don't see all the improvements. And try to name one game that didn't have a glitch even after it's been released. Patches later, glitches persist. Unfortunately, it's just part of the game code. There's no way to really fix all of it. There's always a glitch somewhere. You just kind of deal with it.
Yeah, I do agree. I also come in like once a week on average. It's just that I'm often at very ugly times, and maybe I'm super tired because out of work. I don't want to talk to people. I'm sorry, especially to you, Bagel.
Oh, what?
Um, I'm sorry to you,
Oh
Frugal. I'm
no.
sorry to you, Black.
Nah, that's right, man.
Oh,
Hi,
it's
Wolf.
alright. I mean,
Oh, right.
I'm also not a lot in the game or talk not as much, since I am an introvert.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people here in the server are. It's just that, for me, for instance, I am quite an introvert as well, but it's just that talking with people face to face or just over the phone takes a lot more energy than just talking here through Discord,
Yeah.
or just yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you're probably the same as me. If you have to do a phone call, you sometimes need a couple of minutes to convince yourself to actually do it.
Oh no, no!
Yeah.
I'll just be like, I'll send a text, and then people are like, no, 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 just call, and
Yeah.
I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'll send a text, okay?
You
Maybe they
text
didn't
someone
receive
and they
it.
suddenly call you. Like, hey, we can talk about it in text instead of texting.
Right. Some people just don't understand. Texas
Ah, there we go.
means I don't really want to speak. I just wanted to convey a message, a short one, hopefully.
Yeah. By the way, Nico just said, my thought was if only I didn't get cut out, at least make the basic video game stuff work.
I'm back.
Ah, there you
And
go.
okay,
Hey,
thank you
that's
for
good.
relaying my message. It's just that we cut out by my internet connection. I should have sorted it out.
Yeah, no,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
right, man.
I mean, I would rejoin, but I always get an error message right now, so I'm not going to come back at the table.
Yeah,
No,
that's
alright.
alright, man.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
would drag another corpse to the table in your place.
Let me actually.
We're
I
running
think
out of
I think we
corpses.
still have a corpse laying about.
I don't know
Oh, we
what
do.
exactly happened, but since the crash, I can't join any servers. It gives me a connection error.
That's the same thing I've been having. God
Yeah.
damn it.
It might be a 30K, so when that happens, you have to close out everything and restart.
I
Done
did.
that
Ow.
8 times. I
I
restarted my
even-
computer twice.
I even
Yeah.
really quickly went and deleted my user folder, but that didn't do anything. It's
No.
the game detected an unexpected connection error.
Right, that is
Oh.
part of the server's like issue, and
Yeah.
there's no real way to fix it. I noticed like since the last few patches, it's been getting worse. Before I used to hop between EU servers and US servers, just because
Yeah.
friends with org play on
That's
different servers, and I try to accommodate as much as I can since it doesn't really affect me much. But I've noticed in recent patches, for me to jump to EU gets really bad at times. It's like
Try
they
Australian servers,
particularly
mate.
try to block you off or something.
I guess I either try later or another day again.
But launching in Discord, we could, start the discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still in Discord, that's not the issue, it's just Star Citizen right
Good
now
enough.
that doesn't want me to connect.
Yeah, don't worry, Frugal. I threw a corpse in your seat.
Yeah, we've got a corpse in your place. We're
Yay.
alright.
You get 2 killed in action.
I mean, no matter how he's in the seat, it will work out. I'm
he's-
pretty
Basically,
flexible.
he's shaking. He's with his ass staring at me. So Don't worry. No, but
That's a good
Speaking-
setup for the night.
yeah. What's up? Sorry, what? Yeah.
He's getting off, I think,
Ah,
Nico.
okay.
Have a good night.
Yo, good night, man. Have a nice day.
Good night, brother.
All right. Good night. No,
Right, but
I was,
yeah.
I was
So
about to respond to the thing he'd said about fixing the bugs.
he can always
um,
watch the VOD.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like, yeah.
Well, the point I wanted to make was that they could have probably by now delivered a game that is actually finished,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't have those features that we're all looking forward to. It would be basically what we have now, but with no bugs. They could have done that, but they haven't.
Yeah, that's
And
what.
I'm
Yeah, sorry.
yeah, I'm happy with that because I would rather have the game have way too many features. Some features that I'm just never going to take advantage of, but they're there, and there are people. There are hundreds, thousands of people, doing an entire career structure that I have no interest in. I want that because that fills the universe and makes it feel like the realism that I'm looking for. But you can't provide a bug-free experience in an alpha environment, meaning one that is constantly being built upon. Because if you at the very basic level, if you clear all of the bugs involved in character physics, so they're not bouncing around and walking outside of stations through walls, etc. If you make a single change to the character model, those bugs have to be fixed again, and you just can't develop anything like that. You can't run a project that is perfect at every step of the way. Every single deliverable is perfect all the time. There's no way it can be done. And the other point I kind of came pre-armed with in this is it a scam conversation is that the dreamer that is Chris, he'd never run a business before.
Yeah.
But he was given $100 million, and I think someone had a word with him at some point, or he had the idea himself, whatever. That he is in a position, or was in a position, where he didn't just need to make a game. That wasn't his deliverable anymore. The Kickstarter promise, that would be the deliverable. It was, he could build an empire. And he jumped at the chance. We're not paying for a game. Like, every single pledge, every backer who has ever pledged has not pledged for a game. They have pledged for a game studio. Every single backer outside of the original Kickstarter. And whether or not that's justified is something that other people are welcome to have their say on. But all I'll say is that it makes complete sense to me. If I was given $100 million and I had an idea that was as good as Star Citizen, all of the, I say good, as in as fully fleshed out, I would pursue building an empire.
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
And I mean, except for some issues that even finished games have worse, it's not a bad game.
No.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I was thinking about as well. It's like, right now.
Just take as example how a AAA game like Cyberpunk came out.
Oh, God. That was more money focused though.
Yeah.
But
still,
yeah,
they could have delayed it even more.
No,
Right.
no, they couldn't have.
The publisher put their foot down, didn't they?
No, so
Yes, but Cyberpunk spent a lot of money too. Like, hold on, give me a second.
So as far as I know, in terms of what Cyberpunk has, it was like, yeah, they were focusing on, or they were making sure that the game would be very good. But from what I remember, it was the finances, the people, like the investors, there we go, who were just like, no, we want a game right now, or else we're going to pull away all of the money that we spent into the game. And that's when the company was like, okay, we need to put our foot down and release the game as soon as fucking possible. And
how much did they invest into that game? I knew it was a pretty good sum.
Wasn't it like around 50 million plus, maybe a trillion? I don't know. It was a very massive number, but at least
I mean,
half
it was
that.
such a good game. Like it still is. Like I got it from day one, and I played it since, and it's still great. And they're doing more work on it. It's just that, they were forced the hand to release it, and half the stuff they actually made couldn't be released in time because it wasn't polished or finished. So they had to just cut it out or make it inaccessible.
Well, the development of Cyberpunk costed $313 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just googled it too. Yeah.
Yeah, but
so it's very similar to this game. Like it's literally 2/3 of the cost of this franchise so far, and considering how far that game has come along, and this game, which I played both, I would seriously consider Star Citizen to be a vastly superior game to that one. Any day of the week.
I mean, at least in the last few years, what game is there that actually delivered what it promised?
Yeah.
I believe it was the original Fallout back in 1992.
Original Fallout, that was 1999.
Yeah, but
no.
But
even Fallout, like it was broken. It wouldn't, if it wasn't for the modding community, that game would have been a total train wreck as well. Like it would have been broken with a lot of bugs. It was the modding community for the last decade put so much heart and blood and sweat and tears into that game to make it what it is today.
Yeah, we're not talking about Fallout 3 now.
No,
I'm talking about the original Fallout.
The original.
The one from 1997.
1997. There we go. I played it first in 1999, but I knew I should have known when it was released.
And okay, so to
I mean, if you have a modding community that is so passionate, you've done something right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get Bethesda.
I think Bethesda, they do it out of spite, don't they?
No, Bethesda just wants to get rid of the modders, really. Oh no, wait, that's Rockstar.
I mean, they don't exactly want to get rid of them, but they want to find a way to make money out of them.
Yeah.
But that's just business. I mean, everything that's connected with some kind of business will try to make money with that, whatever they can.
Yeah. But going back then, so Cyberpunk cost $313 million. It is a single standalone game taking place in one city. It's eloquently detailed, and there's a massive story. But for $500 million, this game is already bigger, and it's two games because Squadron 42 is being developed along with that money.
Right, and it's almost like about ready to be launched too. Like guaranteed next year is going to be Squadron 42.
Yeah,
possibly, maybe. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's so close.
In answer to all of this, criticism, I don't know what the right word is, skepticism about when the game will be released, I think, when I joined in 2018, within, same as Nico, within 2 weeks, I was in the org. I'd met the founders playing in a server, and I was in the org. But before that time, the chat was full of people saying "finally," #finally, and it turned out it was something from Reddit, where basically the whole history of the game, there'd been almost no progress since 2014, when the original reimagining, whatever they call it, the expansion was announced, until 2018 there was almost no progress. There was actual progress. Obviously they went from Olizar and SPK to the whole Crusader system and all of standard, but people were saying finally, because it was actually something that was worth playing. Like it was starting to come together. And during one of the first times I was watching a video with Jared in it, so probably an SEL, but the topic was addressed, and the point that they made is they've spent the last 5 years making the tools to make a game.
Yeah.
And since I started, and you guys are free to disagree if you'd like, I'd be really interested to hear what you say. But since I started playing in 2018, well, 2019 basically, the game has snowballed with the amount of progress it's making.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
They can develop things from, things go on the roadmap and real progress is made so much quicker nowadays than just a few years ago. And it might be the case that actually they already have, like, whatever the name of the studio is that's making the other planets, the other systems. It could be that they actually have an enormous number of systems ready to go.
Yeah, but not the hardware to actually put everything together.
By the way, we have a player that's shooting at an Aurora outside.
Yeah. Well,
to interrupt that, like the reason why, like those years that you mentioned, they were having so much trouble. They initially signed a contract with Cryotech to use their technology.
Yeah.
And because of it, they had such a lawsuit for like 2 years, and they didn't want to implement any of the software they developed for it, because if they're stuck in a lawsuit using their program, that means they got to pay royalties and be stuck with it. So like it wasn't until like when I guess the report saying on Reddit finally when they actually moved away, settled the lawsuit, and went to Lumberyard.
Yeah, and it's all that whole story. I kind of summarized it. Yeah, it's basically that. They were so long developing the tools and then switching engine, which is not some people say it's a silly thing. Maybe it is, but either way, it's a real pain and a lot of work.
That was your bullet.
Yeah, it was. No, it was a Pisces, that one. But yeah, it basically is a case where the speed of development is accelerating because they now have the tools. And what we're looking at in terms of tech that's coming up, server meshing, PES, things like that, they're the keystone tech that will allow these things to just snowball even further. And so I actually am more optimistic right now, at this time, than I was last year, for the game probably being released within the next couple of years, because things can just slot in so much quicker now, and it's only going to get faster.
What I wanted to say as well, sorry to interrupt you there, but
go ahead.
For the past few minutes, I actually wanted to say. No, but to get back to the whole like release or like throw it into beta already and whatnot, what you also have with a lot of modern games as well is like right as you said, you can throw out a game, but then and with no bugs whatsoever or like a ton of bug fixes, but then the moment you start updating the game and adding in, let's say, a different ship or a different gameplay mechanic, a fuck ton of those bugs will actually come back.
Yeah.
And so it's better for CIG to just release a game or like keep the game as it is right now. Make sure that everything that is like mainly the focus, to be added before they throw it into beta in order to fix the bugs and optimize it, and then release it before throwing in major updates and getting constant bugs and stuff.
Yeah, that's obviously a big part of it. Beta is for bug fixes, and the alpha is for throwing in, building the tools to build the game. I mean, we haven't really heard anything about, this is eventually going to be an MMO. We haven't heard anything about when the game is released and ready. How are they going to be able to keep the story flowing? They need to develop tools and that allows a production director, a story director, to be like, okay, this week I'm going to put an event together, and maybe I'm speaking from my bias because I'm the events coordinator guy. They need a way to very quickly, without having to, code in an entirely different thing, like it's a whole DLC. Just very quickly be like, right, I want this group of this faction to attack this location, and it generates this set of missions or whatever, and they need to quickly be able to do that. And at the minute, like the Xeno threat was being spoken about for like 8 months before it was released, and it wasn't particularly good on the first release. The second release was better.
Yeah.
And then Ninetales Lockdown took, I don't know now, it's just a guess, but it felt like about 6 months. And then the Siege of Orison, it was literally, there was a patch where a whole bunch of platforms were on show, and the next patch, the event was live.
Yeah, exactly.
How much quicker have they got? They're just accelerating with every step, because what they're doing is they're building those tools to be able to build those kind of events. And the bottleneck becomes if they need new art assets to actually, to fight on those platforms in Orison. They weren't quick to knock up. But the actual like underlying mission structure would have been relative to the Xenothreat event, easy to create, because they already had like a little application, a little tool that would. I picture a bunch of sliders, and they can just set a bunch of sliders and rules, scripts that run, and it works.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think that's a really good example of the kind of thing you need to be able to build ahead of time. The alpha is the time to do that. The beta is the time to fix the bugs, to really nail down the physics and the damage models and all of that kind of thing.
Even right now, like scheduled for 3.18, they get the, like we said earlier, like the PES, and with it, they're working on a way so when PES does come in, they're gonna make it easier. Right now, the game system, the way it works, it's hammering the heck out of any kind of CPU you use.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying like when that comes into play, 3.18, hopefully along with DirectX 12, it'll make this game much easier and put all the load back onto the GPU where it should be. And that gives me high hopes, like it'll make a playable game again.
Yeah. I've just upgraded CPU and I'm getting enormous gains. But it would be nice to have the game, and that's not just optimization. That is like the way the game is working is really intensive, because there's a lot of kind of stuff going on that doesn't need to go on. That when you speak about optimization, people usually say that word, and what they really mean is like redundant bits of code that are running, don't need to anymore. They just haven't been trimmed yet. But yeah, there's a lot to come in that respect as well.
Right, and hopefully with DirectX 12, and the optimization comes in, they could work on even making this even more prettier by using FSR or DLSS, whichever one is able to be implemented with the system. That means we don't have to be as laggy and still get very extremely high performance.
Yeah, do you think what's your opinion on graphics wise? Should the game constantly chase to be what's their current thing, just like 1.2% of the current gen, so they're just always a little bit ahead of what current gen is? Or do you think this should be the space in time that it's frozen in, and so this level of graphics, even when in 2030, when full holographic projector tech is invented and perfected, should Star Citizen move on to the new latest and greatest tech?
I think we shouldn't lock anything in, personally, in my opinion. Like, I like the fact that the studio has freedom of movement and it's not locked in. To reiterate back on your previous thing where you've said earlier, like, they could have released a game at that point. Yes, they could have, but they would have locked it into a particular coding system, and that would have limit what they could add to the game, and that would have been it. They wouldn't be able to add much more than what they want. Now we're having like almost 100 players per server, and that couldn't happen if we actually locked into that older system.
Yeah, the Crytek engine obviously was built as a single player thing, and they
Right.
were shoehorning multiplayer netcode in, and it wasn't fitting. I'm surprised at how, like, for an engine, even the Lumberyard engine is still based on 2012 technology, or 2013, 14 technology from Crysis. I'm still surprised at how high fidelity the graphics are in this game, because I mean, I can't remember the name of the game, but I was watching someone play it the other day. That it was a new, a major overhaul mod had been brought out for it. Stalker, I think the game was. But either way, it's a few years old now, and the one thing they've expanded the gameplay no end. You know, the textures and graphics of the actual textures. The physical models have been changed and redrawn, but the graphical quality itself is still looks like it's a game from 2012. You know, you've got the jagged edges, you haven't got the same level of lighting detail. But this game continues to grow with the other games in the industry.
I do think that in terms of like graphics quality, yeah, they could stay the same, but then add like small tab bits in, like as in ray tracing, for instance, or
That's
stuff like that. Just like small, more modern bits, more like reflections to make it look a lot better. But of course, keep the overall quality. So let's say like right now, for instance, I'm looking right into the reflection of this window here, and I see very pixelated lines. They could then change that to be a lot more, a lot better, without taking up as much as graphical hardness. Graphics stuff.
Yeah, like there's DLSS 3.
Yeah.
Which is apparently really good at doing reflections, especially in mirrors, windows, on the surface of water, etc. But it has like half the impact of standard DLSS.
Yeah, exactly.
For FPS. So those kind of things. I mean, literally, what you're looking at right now is a drawing. It's a simulated reflection of this room, which is why we're not in the reflection. But with DLSS 3, I think it was 3.
I mean, I can definitely see it's a drawing thanks to the reflection on the right, but yeah.
Yeah, but with DLSS 3, it's like the reflection in the window can be as high res as the actual image that it's reflecting, with hardly any FPS drop. So yeah, if they bring that kind of thing in, it'll be another huge step forward.
Yeah.
And it is whether or not the engine can hack it, and I guess they have to kind of profile what kind of hardware people are running, and if it's worth them implementing something that say like 1% of users are going to be able to use without their system crying.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But you know, like everything was all depends on the graphics. Is really dependent upon your hardware. Like if someone had a 3090, they wouldn't have the same issues as we are. I don't have the latest gen GPU either, but it does good enough job.
Yeah. Honestly, the only reason for me to get a better graphics card right now will be just for like I said, Minecraft, and then I would get a ray tracing mod for it and play Minecraft like that.
Gotta watch those blocks in perfectly traced rays.
Yeah, exactly. I have perfectly ray traced blocks, and then But that's the only reason, or just like if this game were to have RTX, then I would also use that for in this game as well, or in whatever other game that I have that has RTX. But it's mostly just like I'm happy to settle with, let's say, a 3050, which will have way less performance than my 1080, but it will have ray tracing. So I don't mind going for lower frames. I'm happy with the quality, and I know a lot of people aren't happy with, don't mind the quality, but are more focused on higher frames.
Yeah, I definitely go for frames over quality.
Yeah.
But
right. Like, quality is important, but if you can't play the game, quality doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah, exactly. I've been playing like F1 recently, and you can't play that at 30 FPS.
What about?
You just can't. Well, you could try, but
you are talking to someone who's used to playing at lower than 30 FPS, so.
Yeah.
But no, like it depends on what you're used to, yeah.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't get on with games at a lower frame rate, and I'm not one of those guys that I'm not going to be like, I need to have a high refresh monitor so I can play at 144. It's just, I'm happy at 60. It's completely fine. Everything goes by smoothly.
Oh, yeah.
So I could be looking at an absolutely pristinely rendered scene, but if it's less than 30 FPS, I would rather turn the graphics way down. And I'm trying to get across that I'm not a snob about it.
Yeah,
I'll play. My Steam library has got many games.
Let's say.
Yeah, but my Steam library has got many games that are quite old now. So
yeah.
the graphics are nowhere near as good as Star Citizen, let's say.
Yeah.
And I'll still play them and absolutely love them. But if I have any kind of stutter, I've got to fix it. I'm in the INI files, I'm in the configs, and I'm trying to figure out, well, why am I getting a stutter? Because I can't abide that. I can get along fine with low quality graphics, but any kind of stutter, and it has to be purged.
I mean, I'm used to be a console player, so I can live with low frames.
Oh yeah.
I came from console, and I was watching today. My wife was playing a game on the Xbox at 30 FPS, as you do, and I was just watching the game just felt like it was in slow motion because I've seen that same game played at whatever my computer can run it out, which is above 30, put it that way, and it looks so much different, quicker, smoother.
Yeah, no, it looks a lot better. I know, and but yeah. And then what I've noticed is what I'm more used to is just a perfect balance. But then if I can't get above let's say 30 FPS in a game, no matter what quality I'm at, then I'll just go for the highest quality. And I don't give a shit about stuttering. I don't care. Like with Star Citizen, I'm happy to stick at the quality that I'm at, which is high. But then the moment the game goes below 15 FPS, I'm fine with it. I can live with that. And I noticed that with the Argo event as well that we did a while back. It's like a lot of people started complaining about stuttering and lagging and whatnot. And I didn't notice a thing. And I was like, what are you guys complaining about? Oh, yeah, I'm below 60 FPS.
Oh, no, that wasn't the issue with that particular event. The issue was we went from above 30 to 6 FPS. It became a slight...
Oh, to 6? I understood 60.
No, you should see... Scarecrow's stream will probably be purged from Twitch by now.
Yeah.
But if you saw it
I was
stream,
watching the stream and I didn't see anything wrong with it, honestly.
No, it literally became a slideshow. It was unplayable in the combat part. And I mean, his computer is more powerful than mine.
Oh yeah.
My computer was really chugging along during the fight. So yeah, there is a difference between playing at low FPS, playing at 6 FPS.
I think at that time I was playing at around, also around 6 or 5 FPS or some shit, because then my graphics card Was my graphics card working then? I'm not sure if it was.
Yeah, it was definitely during the time when you were having trouble, but I think you borrowed your boss's or your friend had given yours back.
It could have been
like
with my boss's PC. That's the problem. Yeah.
Hmm.
But no, like I'm quite used to it, so I won't really notice that much of a difference when it goes to like down to 5 FPS. Of course, I
Yeah.
do notice it, but I'm not bothered that much by it, as I've been somewhat used to it. But then
Yeah.
I've also seen the person that seen a person that came in with a computer, or that had a computer, and it had, I think it was a like a 1080 or 2080 or some shit, and they just didn't get enough frames in their opinion on Warzone, and I was like, and then they asked like, oh well, how many frames do you get? Oh yeah, I'm just getting a 230 on the minimum quality, like the lowest quality possible. And
Someone was banking them, and they were like, "Oh, I need to be better at the game. I need more frames."
Yeah, exactly.
That's gonna make you better, mate.
I was just like, "What the fuck are you on about?" And that was at the time that I'd never have ever reached above 30 FPS, in no matter what I was playing. So I was just like, "Motherfucker!" And then, the dude, my boss, who was talking to him, was like, "Oh yeah, no, we can look." And I was right when the 30 series got released. And the series was like, oh yeah, no, you can get a 3070 or 3080 or some shit, but it will only increase your frames by like 10. And the dude was like, yeah, sure, I'll buy the 3070. And he actually bought a fucking new graphics card, purely to get 10 more frames a second.
And I bet he still got killed just as easily on Warzone.
I fucking hope he did.
You were in there trying to server jump for him.
Yeah, no, like
him out.
Even my boss later on, as the customer was gone, he just turned to me. I was like, "So how jealous are you at the moment?" And I just started swearing quite a lot.
I'm sorry, people. I'm gonna call it a night.
Yeah, we thought you already headed to bed.
Yes.
I actually have to work tomorrow, so
Ah,
yeah.
Yeah, well, good night then, mate. Have a nice sleep
Good
well.
speaking with you, and have you have a good night.
Lovely for the small bits I've been here, and
It was wonderful to have you here, man.
thanks. I hope I will catch you around soon.
Yeah, of course, man.
And
Have a nice day.
I wish you all a good night.
Yo.
Good night.
Good night.
Right, but yeah, no, it's like I'm very jealous that people can easily spend that much money, but also then like just do that purely to get 10 frames a second more.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'm on I think a 1080.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they changed, but when I started Star Citizen, I had moments when I walked around, I was at 6 to 8 frames.
Oh yeah.
But now it's always above 10.
Yeah, so that
they
was
did
with
something.
Yeah, so with 3.18, they massively improved the optimization, and they did so with 3.17 as well.
I sometimes even have around 20 to 25, so I'm quite happy.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I'm running a 1080 as well with a Ryzen 5 5600G. Let's see.
I forgot the settings, but there was NVIDIA settings where they could trick it and then upscale with DLSS that was even with the 1080s. And if you do that, you get more frames. And you won't notice the difference.
Yeah, I mean, you on what it's called.
I'm running at around 50 frames a second now.
Yeah, on Spectrum you can see what. No, not Spectrum. What was it? Fuck. That thing where you can look. Telemetry, yeah, on Robot Space Industries.
Oh yeah, the telemetry hasn't been working for me recently. It just doesn't seem to want to load.
Yeah.
No, the telemetry is like completely off. Like it didn't really work. It's a false positive. Always like it tells you one thing, but I know my hardware and it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, mine is placed between the minimum configurations and the recommended.
Yeah.
Right.
And apparently I will have moments with up to 30 to 39 frames per second, which I could say yes to when I stand in a place without motion and nothing is moving in front of me.
Yeah, okay. In any case, I think I'll end the podcast here.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll stay in the voice chat, of course, and we can just continue talking. But then I'll just end the stream and yeah.
Sure.
All right. Let me end this for a bit.